Emmanuel Okaridia, Dr. Mafimidiwo, and Dr. Engineer Lydia. They are going to be in charge of Session E that will come up later. Session C, Joseph Emeshele, Professor John Paul Ilo, Engineer Dr. Kazim Ojikutu. So these are the people that are going to be rapporteurs today. And there's none of them that I have not told personally. So as soon as we're ready now with the online audience, we'll have to start anyhow. I'm very sorry for all the stress and the delays. The chairman of the session is here already. Please, engineer, we'll go over to you. I'll hand over to your co-chair, the chairman. President, they are not ready.
distinguished, past presidents, fellows, and members. You are welcome to the technical session B for today. We apologize for starting a bit late due to traffic challenges. But I can assure you, whatever we have lost by that, we will find a way of making it up as engineers to keep within the time that we have been given for this project. We have 7 papers to be dealt with, latest by, according to the program, by 11:20. So please, we will adjust, and you must be able to satisfy us that your paper is worthy of being listened to and assessed at this conference through your presentation. If you have your paper here and you're already in the hall, because we understand some of the paper presenters also have challenges. If you have your papers listed in page 15, technical session B, please raise up your hand. If you're in this hall, or you know anyone that is already part of this conference, wherever it is, please kindly place a call that we need his attention. Otherwise, if it doesn't come within this time, the paper may not be taken, and that would definitely, because we are going to have Best Paper Award for the first time at this conference, and presentation has its marks. No matter how good your paper is, if it's not presented at this conference, you will lose, some marks for lack of presentation. So please, if you know anybody, that is part of this conference that is here on the way or whatever, kindly let them be aware that we will not wait further, and they must come to present their papers. Is anybody here? Let's see your hand up. Paper section, technical session paper B, smart grid technology development in Nigeria, artificial intelligence for microgrid operation, customer demand analysis, microgrid assessment on power scheduling, power system restoration after disturbances, the economic dispatch in microgrid renewable energy resources, then re-engineering of Nigerian economy through digital innovations. If you know anyone that is presenting any of these papers, please let them be aware that we need their attention. Okay? Only B. C and D. C, D, E. Please, this particular session is for technical session B. C, D, E are in the other rooms. Okay? This is B. No, this is B. This is Nigeria.
B and C, we stay here.
Okay.
Those want to have their own D and E, we go there.
Okay.
So concurrently now we are having session B and session D.
We'll take them here. We'll take the 2 here. See, look. See.
Now, this is 9 o'clock. This is under 9 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Okay. So please, there are 2 sessions going on this morning. If you look at page 15, technical session B is happening here. All those papers. If you know anyone that is here or is on his way, that's part of this conference, place a call so they can come for presentation. Then technical session D is happening at another.
The last presenter is online and is ready.
this one. Okay. Okay. I understand that there is one of the paper presenters who is online. The people at the media, can you please help us? Technical paper on by Engineer Dr. Hakimen Amadi, Re-engineering Nigeria's economy through digital solution innovations, the case of the energy sector. I understand is on the line and is presenting. Please, the media room, kindly assist. Please, Engineer Dr. Amadi, can you unmute yourself and go on with your paper presentation? Technical session B, Re-engineering Nigeria's economy through digital innovations, the case of the energy sector. Dr. Amadi, can you please make your presentation? Thank you.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I'm sure I'm being heard clear over there.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Please go on.
Thank you very much, sir. The topic of my presentation is really engineering Nigeria's economy through digital innovations, the case study of the energy sector. I have with me on this paper Dr. O.N. Ibogidi and Engineer T.K. Bala. The outline of the presentation we'll be looking at the current state of the energy sector.
Hello? Please, hold on.
Yes, sir?
Is that Dr. Amadi?
Speaking, sir.
The paper for technical session B, when you look at our program, is Re-engineering Nigeria's economy through digital innovations, the case of the energy sector. That's the paper for this, section.
And that's the paper I'm presenting, sir.
What we have here is a review of strategies and technologies for restoring power system to its normal state. Please, there's another paper, media. Please, this one has been taken, I understand, yesterday.
The technical team, hello, sir.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
We can hear you.
I sent 2 slides. I sent 2 slides to the technical team.
Yes, they're already looking at it.
Maybe
Okay, they will bring it out in the media. Just hold on.
All right.
Okay, this is the correct paper that we want to look at this morning. So please, you have to do it in 10 minutes. Justify the paper, why the paper was written, what the innovations are, and the conclusions. And so that people can ask their questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. I will do just as you've done.
Okay, hold on one minute. Please, Dr. Amadi, hold on. Form with the Deputy President who would like to speak.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I want you to know that your paper is being assessed. And there's going to be assessment. There's going to be award after the whole thing. So they are going to be assessed based on your problem definition, your technical innovation. It has 15% each. Methodology, 15%. Benchmarking, 10%. The performance improvements, 10%. References, 5%. Conclusion, 5%. Originality is 10%. Data integrity is 10%. And presentation is 5%. Note that it's not only one person that is doing the assessment. We have many people doing the assessment, about 5 minimum. So is the average of whatever they bring up is what we're going to use. So don't feel that maybe somebody, you will not be fair. It's going to be fair. We are trying to be fair as much as possible in our assessment. So when you are doing your job, understand that people are watching. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. So this paper is informed by the fact that the Nigeria's economy is having challenges, and the challenges are informed by several factors. However, the idea of this paper is to look at the energy sector, how the country's energy sector can be brought in, can be built up, can be revamped, so as to contribute significantly to the nation's economy via the use of digital innovations. Because there are other ways, other factors upon which the economy is dependent. We know that we have from the non-oil sector and then the oil sector. We know that our country has been dependent to a very large extent on the oil or petroleum sector. That has been the sector, even though it's still part of energy sector, that has been the part where the country has been dependent. It has been completely oil. Everybody's talking about oil. That's our major source of income. But we believe that we can innovate digitally. And through digital innovations, we can actually build up our economy and contribute significantly to the nation's GDP. Well, before now, like I said earlier, it has been oil. Now, of recent, it has been the non-oil sector, which is still part of the energy sector, that are actually contributing significantly to the economy. 98% of the contribution to GDP now is from the non-oil sector. And this comes from renewable energy, telecommunications, and others. So we are looking through the paper. We want to see how we can bring in digital innovations, such as Internet of Things, such as smart grid, smart metering, and others. For example, if you look at the energy sector, you see that we've been talking about metering, increasing the number of people metering. We have been talking about how to revamp the infrastructure. You will hear from the side of the transmission company that they don't have, their problem is that the generating people are not doing enough. If you meet the generating companies, the GENCOs, they will tell you that the problem is that the transmission company is not evacuating enough. You see here from the distribution side, their own complaints still that they are not getting enough to be distributed. Now, there are these claims and counter-claims. And that is one of the reasons why the Electricity Act of 2023 was brought in order to decentralize and properly regulate the energy sector. By the time this is done, giving power to states to generate power and to sell power. Now, you see that even in the face of that, we still have the fact that we cannot feed, the energy access can still not go up to 50% as it is now. 50% of Nigerians are not getting access to the energy. Have no access to energy. And so we are talking of how we're going to make these things to be realistic, because from the energy, if the energy is generated and properly distributed, and users are paying for it, certainly we will be able to realize more money, and that will contribute directly to the nation's GDP. And so the question now is, what do we do to be able now to harness the power of digital innovations? Especially in the face of the fact that there are challenges affecting the energy sector. One of which is the high inefficiency due to outdated infrastructure and technical losses, corruption, insufficient infrastructural investment, inconsistent regulations, and then all these contribute to erratic power supply, which hampers industrial and social development. Therefore, this paper is suggesting that we be able to harness the power of digital innovations, because digital technologies enhance efficiency and reduce the energy losses. Now they also help in automation and analytics, which also leads to cost reduction.
Dr. Amadi, you have 2 more minutes, please.
Seriously. Okay, so I will. Now the digitalization can impact our economy because it will create jobs for our teeming population. It will also help to drive the economy by enhancing operational costs and the energy prices. It will also improve energy access support. Efficiency will also enhance accessibility for providers and the consumers. Though we know that there are challenges also to digital innovations, but with proper planning and proper implementation, this will be able to this will be taken care of. Now, recommendation. This paper recommends as follows: that there should be regulatory frameworks that support digital innovations and adoptions. Also, we should be able to utilize our natural market to attract international investment in digitally based energy solutions. We should also invest in research and development to tackle unique energy challenges. There should be collaboration regionally to enhance energy cooperation. Also, public-private partnership is suggested. We conclude, therefore, that digital innovations have the potential to transform Nigeria's energy sector. Technology enhances efficiency and sustainability. Digital transformation is crucial for economic diversification. Collaboration among stakeholders is essential for embracing digital solutions. It will be necessary for us to address the challenges affecting our energy sector and to ensure that there are significant growth and resilience opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Thank you very
Amadi.
much.
Thank you. Can you give a round of applause? Dr. Amadi has given us the various ways, solutions, digital solutions that he has, suggested, like smart grid, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, smart metering, as ways of improving the energy sector. Please, all our questions, we should be noting them because he has 2 papers. So we are giving you opportunity to present the second paper and we take all his questions at once. Note once again, the papers are being assessed by assessors. There's a Best Paper Award to the best presenter and best writer at this conference. So the standards have been announced and they are being collated. So the second paper can now, yes. So the second paper under section B is also by Dr. Amadi. So please go ahead, media, give out the second paper by Dr. Amadi so that he takes these 2 papers at once. And we also, field our questions and also take assessment of his papers against test standards for evaluation at this conference. Thank you. Oh, okay. Please, the technical people, the second paper is power system restoration after major disturbances, a review of strategies and technologies. So please help us be displaying as is presenting so that people can also follow. As they are listening, let the visual also be matching the presentation. Thank you. Dr. Amadi.
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead with your second paper. You have 10 minutes. And you are being assessed for Best Paper Award following the criteria you have stated earlier. Problem definition, technical innovation, methodology, benchmarking, performance improvement. How many references you put together, how convincing is your conclusion, and how widespread is your data. And of course, how is your presentation, how convincing at this conference? Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I wish these conditions of assessment were made available to us, the presenters, earlier. Anyhow,
please, let me apologize, because that was one thing I also mentioned among the committee at this end, that I'm a World Bank procurement consultant. What the rule says is that we must assess anybody, it must be published in this paper when they are submitting, that they are going to get, but be that is may, we are starting, we are learning. This is the first time for any institute, discipline in Nigeria, to come forward on an objective basis by members, by people qualified, to assess you and give you an award. So we believe that in future, the committee and NIF as a whole, they must send to all, and in fact, it will be on our website, that for next year presentation, this you'll be assessed and there's an award. Please let us take note. Thank you.
All right. So the topic, as has been earlier announced, is a review of strategies and technologies for restoring a power system to its normal status following a major disturbance. Distinguished audience, we are aware that there have been several outages arising from the collapse of our national grid in the past. It appears to have been worse even this year. Now, as I speak, for the power supply to Port Harcourt, River State, under power holding, under Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company, is here to be fully restored. In fact, where I'm speaking from now, we are using a generating set. And this is because of the collapse that happened some 72 hours ago. So you see, with this kind of challenge in a country like Nigeria, you can imagine how the growth in our economy can be. And this is one of the things that informed my going into this paper. Now, with my co-authors, Dr. B. Wokoma and Dr. E.D. Ekerians, we decided to study how to facilitate the restoration of a power system to its operating and normal status, especially after a major disturbance. Now, we have two major strategies. There is the traditional strategy and there is the advanced strategy. Now, even though both of them actually prioritize restoration of critical infrastructure as quickly as possible, but the advanced strategy leverages on smart grid technologies to facilitate and to restore the system within the shortest period possible. Now, with this paper, we are reviewing these two technologies. Now, for the review of technology for power system restoration, we have the advanced sensing system, like the physical measurement unit that ensure real-time situational awareness. And then the smart grid technologies that automate and enhance restoration capabilities. Distinguished audience, one of the reasons why it can take as long as 72 hours to restore power is because of the technology, the slowness of the technology. But this paper is suggesting the adoption of the advanced power restoration strategies. Yes, using automated systems. So such that the moment the power outage occurs, we will be able to know from which angle that the power failure has occurred, the critical infrastructure and the systems that are affected, and be able to attend to those ones very critically. Now, we know there are case studies that have happened in countries outside Nigeria, and they have had these kind of challenges as well. What they do rather, is that they employ automatic ways of restoration of this power. So that it hardly gets noticed that there was even a power outage. Now the smart grid restoration system, for example, it uses advanced monitoring and control. Now, the real-time data enables rapid fault isolation and grid reconfiguration, such that there are data concerning the outage, and this data is analyzed automatically, and the fault areas are isolated to enable the areas that are not faulty to carry on.
Dr. Amadi, please, you have 2 more minutes. I've been warned.
Thank you. Also, microgrid provide the backup power automatically during disturbances, and then distributed resources enhance the resilience and support recovery of the system. So we find that in the course of this review, it's actually a review work we did. We found out that transitioning to advanced strategy will enhance restoration efforts, that smart grid technologies will enable faster isolation and load restoration, that microgrids can provide critical backup power and bolster resilience. Also, that advanced technologies can enhance real-time decision-making. Just as integration of resources will lead to stronger restoration frameworks. We therefore recommend increased investment in monitoring and control technologies, integrated distributed energy resources into restoration plans. We should also be able to develop comprehensive plans and train personnel to implement this regularly. There should be collaboration on AI-based restoration solutions, just as we suggest that the nation begins to focus on resilience and reliability in future strategies. This review highlights the evolution of restoration strategies.
Dr. Amadi, thank you.
Future research will emphasize adaptive restoration.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you very much.
So please give a round of applause. The paper is quite interesting to me. He has gone through the two, according to him, 2 principal methods of restoration of power system after major blackout or disturbance. He mentioned the traditional approach, which is what has been used and normally, takes much longer time. It's usually manual. He compared it with what is called the advanced technology approach using microgrid, and other automatic means. We would like to, ask our questions, 5 questions for him, covering these 2 papers, so that we can take other papers. If you have questions, please raise up your hand, both online and on site. Thank you. Okay, please ask your question.
My name
okay,
is,
sorry. Ask your question then. Next. If you have a question for raise up your hand, we want to take just 5 questions.
My name is Engineer
1,
Abdurrahim Momin.
2, 3, 4, 5. Finish. 4 on the lower table, and 1 on the right table.
My name is Engineer Abdurrahim Momin. My questions will be centered around the first paper. From the presentation, the presenter said that, he's trying to re-engineer a kind of digital technology through which energy sector can be improved. But in the course of presentation, we in power sector, we have, some digital innovation that we are using presently. And I expected the presenter to make mention of, for example, when he said he want to improve metering infrastructure, I expected him to make mention of probably how we can improve for the existing digital technology we are using in power system, such as advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, and automated meter reading, AMR. You see, we know that all these systems have, the area where they are effective and they have a lot of limitation. Is he trying to improve all these limitations, or is trying to, he has done a research to introduce another techniques that can be used to improve the metering infrastructure digitally? Then my second question is on the network improvement. The existing technology we are using to digitize our network in terms of minimizing, the fault level and the, remote fault detection. We have SCADA on ground. So he didn't mention any particular technology to be used, or is he trying to, infect another, digital technology to improve, network system? Thank you.
Dr. Amadi, I hope you got that questions right.
Yes. I got the question.
I think I will want you to answer maybe quickly so that you don't get them mixed up.
Okay. Like I mentioned, or maybe I can't quite recover it. But the question is asking, it's not as if we are inventing. It's not as if we are inventing.
The question, let me summarize it for you. He said you mentioned the, advanced metering system, 2 types that they are currently using. He said there are inadequacies, which they also know. But he's now asking whether the one solution you are preferring, is it trying to address the inadequacies of the existing software they are using on their meters, or a different methodology or technology that you are proposing? Thank you.
Well, it's not. We are not bringing a new method. You can see we are only saying use of digital innovations. So the systems and strategies he mentioned, they're in order with our paper. We are not criticizing them. We are only suggesting increased adoption and implementation. If you went through my slides, though I didn't follow the slides slide by slide, I made mention of the fact that we are under-metered for now. Everybody knows it.
Anyway, Dr. Abadi.
So,
okay.
Yes,
please. Okay.
The widespread adoption of the strategy they have now is what we are talking about. The enhancement, implementation, widespread adoption. It has not been embraced the way it's supposed to be embraced.
Okay.
You can imagine how many people are using smart meter.
Thank you. I think we have got his own input. What he's talking about is enhancement. That's what the question wants to know. Enhancement of what there has been, what you people are doing. So any other question quickly?
Engineer Francis Zetafo, FNIEEE. I wanted to ask the very same question engineer just asked.
Oh, thank you, please. Okay. Already microphone.
Systems as well in Nigeria already in operation. Now, the innovation we are seeking, digital innovations. They are going to control hardware. So what's our problem? What are the things that we are supposed to do that we are not doing?
I'm not hearing you well, please. I'm still not hearing your question, please.
Yes, the solutions are trying to
One, two, one, two.
It's still not audible, please. I still can't hear. What is the matter, please?
Hello, Engineer Amadi, can you hear me now? The solutions you're trying to bring in with your digital innovation, like Engineer already pointed out that we have existing SCADA control systems, supervisory control systems as well in Nigeria. What are we trying to do? Because my own concern is availability of the hardware that will bring these solutions to bear. If you bring in these digital innovations, the control hardware, do we have those hardware on ground? And for your second presentation, I just want to ask, because you are not given enough time to present to us the solutions you are trying to proffer. How do you feed in this fault data such that your supervisory control systems can detect it on the system and either annul or position the system such that within a very short period of time, we can bring back the grid?
Yeah, thank you very much. The other one you talked about. Hello, Chairman, sir.
Yes, go on. We can hear you. Yes, please. Can you address the question, the answers quickly? Give us the answers.
Yes, like the first one, it said we can provide. I'm happy he noted that there was no time. We have so many things we should have said, but there is no time. But there is no problem. We canvass, or we are rather canvassing for more investment in the infrastructure. We need, like the SCADA is talking about, we have it in place, but we need to invest more in these areas for the entry of the data. You see that our personnel have to be trained with this smart system. If the smart system is adopted and implemented, there's every likelihood of our being able to, because that's one of the benefits of the advanced technology. We have equipment and we have our men, the expert professionals trained in machine learning and artificial intelligence. They will be able to automatically impute this to the extent that the system responds within the fastest period necessary to be able to locate the fault and be able to restore the system to normalcy.
Okay, we've listened to your answers, and I hope we have got one or two things. The next person, number 3.
Yes, Good morning, Chairman. My name is Engineer Kasim Abdullahi Burkulu. My question goes almost the same way the other questions goes. I want to ask the presenter, how do you intend to prefer a smart grid restoration to a grid that is greatly controlled manually and operated manually? I think the first step should be to make it a smart grid first. But how do you intend to do that? Thank you.
I hope you got the question. The question is asking that most of the existing system, grids are not smart. If you want to introduce a smart innovation, how do you make them smart grid?
Of course, to make them smart, we know that a smart grid is a super grid. That's another name for it, super grid. Now what we are saying is that the infrastructure we have on ground is not smart. So to start with, we have to make it smart. And that is where the investment comes in. Unfortunately, the back and forth policy formulation, the politics we have in Nigeria is affecting most of these things. The moment we come up with proper policy and the framework and implement it, we'll be able to gradually maybe phase our grid. We'll phase our grid and make them smart and make our grid to be smart. Because like you noted, without the grid being smart, to implement these things cannot happen. So we must make our grid to be smart grid. Adoption of smart grid, that is what this paper is suggesting.
I think, do we have comments from the floor regarding answer to that question? Dr. Temikuton. There's a contribution from the floor. Please listen, Dr. Madi.
Yeah.
All power systems were initially analog. And if all other nations can use the same principle of smart grid on the system that were basically analog, there's nothing impossible for us to do. It is called retrofitting. You replace some equipment and some just enhance their performance. And in this area of power electronics, a lot can be done on the power system to make all these things that we see as rocket science very simple. So the application of computer, modern day advanced technologies in communication and power electronics will make everything possible.
I think let's give Dr. Temiko a round of applause. That is the answer, the correct answer to that question. Super grid is, you are talking about higher voltages. It's different from smart grid, and we must get that distinction as electrical engineers. Thank you. The last person on the floor here.
Good morning, colleagues. My name is still Professor John Paul Ilo. If we were in my town, I would have given 1 cup of palm wine to the last speaker. Yes, because when the presenter said another name for smart grid is super grid, I think he's trying to confuse us without knowing. And I'm happy he used the right word, retrofitting. You know, we keep talking about smart grid. You can't build smart grid in the air. There are little things we can do to make our systems amenable to smart systems. You just put in some sensors. You don't need to remove. See, if we had to overhaul our systems and make everything smart, it's going to cost so much. We can't even maintain our simple analog systems. So, but we can try to do some things to retrofit the system and bring in some, probably sensors and some additional components that will help us continue to use that system with a little additional work. Please, I want my question papers. You did some research. I've read your abstracts, and you mentioned that you collected some data and so on. But I did not see any tangible results. We are engineers. Sometimes we make presentations and they will look like a prose. If you have collected data, you must have analyzed that data. We need to know the method you used to analyze that data and what tangible results you got. For example, somebody may ask, what is the level of application of these innovations you are talking about? At what level are we? Does it mean that everything we have is analog? I don't think so. There are some digital substations here and there. Okay? But if you have done extensive research, you could have given us some tangible figures, maybe in percentage or whatever. That will give us an idea of what is existing. And then when you're profiling your solutions, you should also quantify the information you are giving us so that we can see if you apply the right statistics, if your conclusions are correct or not. I think I've made my point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for very intelligent contributions and enhancement to the paper. Last person, please.
Thank you. Sitting on the existing protocol. Dr. Amadi, you made a statement that Nigeria is the Africa's largest economy. I don't know where you get that data. And what date? It has to be correct. I don't know the date of the data. Presently, I can argue that. So please correct your data. And then like the last question has said, you see, when you are investigating a matter, you get to the right source. Your first paper is based on assumptions. I don't think you have gone to any power station, both the ones that are very innovative that I know, and the old ones. It's not all about analog. There are so many digital stations that you need to visit, so that when you now compare your data of past, present, and future, you can now be able to get your conclusions. Then two, you talked about digital innovation. Of course, you have not mentioned the innovation mostly in agric, how your digitalization will affect agric. You just said digitalization, we don't know. At the implementation level, what are we expecting? Your paper has not addressed that. Those are my concerns.
Recording in progress.
Okay, thank you for this other contribution on how to enhance the paper. But I think he was talking about how the innovation will affect power systems. So, but it's not impossible also if he has anything that can improve our Greek. So the next paper, please let's give the paper presenter a round of applause. And all the commentators who have enhanced the contributions. The next paper from what I have here is by Engineer Terab Ibn Ali. Is it here or online? Okay, please, Engineer Terab Ibn Ali. Optimization of customer demand response with economic load dispatch using particle swarm algorithm. Please, the media, kindly let us have the paper. Engineer Terab Ali, are you there?
I can hear you.
Please.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I can hear you.
Can you start? Your time starts now, 10 minutes. Your time starts now, 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, my chairman and distinguished audience. What I'm here to present, optimization of customer demand response with economic load dispatch using particle swarm optimization. My presentation, my presentation here has to do with the power flow analysis, economic load dispatch, particle swarm demand response mechanism, problem formation, result and discussion and next slide, please. Okay, power system problem. Power flow analysis plays a greater role in trying to obtain the correct current voltage and the phase angle of generators and sources of distribution, as well as the grid we are trying to supply. So therefore, to obtain this, you have to run a power flow analysis to obtain the accurate voltage level and the current level. So here I use the Newton-Raphson iterative flow solution, which has a faster convergence rate than the others. Next slide, please.
Please, media, next slide.
Now, the concept of economic load dispatch has to do with the minimization of total costs. So please be moving the slide, media, or I can share from my end.
Yeah, please share from your end.
Okay, because some of the slides are not coming. Let me share from my end. Sorry. Can you see my slide? Hello, media team, can you see my slide?
Please continue, you have 7 more minutes.
Okay, minimization of total costs. That's the main aim, one of the main aims of the economic load dispatch, and then the optimal combination of power generations that gives the minimum cost, satisfies the constraints. That constraint has to do with the power balance, inequalities, and then the limits to which the generators can be subjected, and then coordinates the generation of one generator to the other, to ensure that the appropriate generator is used at the time. Now, particle swarm optimization also is an optimization tool that seeks to coordinate the generations and gives an optimal supply that is of a lesser cost. Now, my demand response size has to do with the interruption in the supply of our power system to the appropriate microgrids, as well as trying to increase the incentives that a customer can be able to achieve when power curtailment is supplied. And also the flexible resources that taps into generation grid and load flexibility that optimizes the consumption pattern. And then my problem formulation has to do with the minimization of fuel cost of generation while satisfying the equality constraint on the power and then the network loss equations. And we also have the inequality constraints of output limits and other operational constraints. And my simulation results shows that within the 24 hours, some customers use wind powers to supply their houses, and others use solar system, PV, to supply to their house to meet their demands in certain hours. So what will be seen here is that after the supply, we can see that the second graph shows how the powers are being delivered to the customers. The solar system and the wind customers that use wind, and then the customers that use grid directly. Now, what we obtain here in the third graph here is that the customer that relies on grids have totally no savings, and they are only being charged by the service providers on the tariff rate. Whereas the fourth graph here shows a curtailment in power.
Please,
where
the graph.
Customers,
where is the graph?
Oh, that's why I asked whether you can see my slide or not, because I have shared my listing.
Please go ahead. You have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
I'm interrupted. So let me go to my conclusion, Mr. Chairman. So my conclusion here is that the particle swarm optimization gives me the optimum generation source that can be integrated to a microgrid to give the customer the desired power to meet critical loads, as well as those customers at the demand sites that uses other sources of distribution energy at certain times also receive more incentives. From my figure, you can see that the 9.4, I think 43% of the power is being reduced as a result of using distributed energy, as well as the consumer incentives increases by 16%. So that shows that using distributed energy also increases the customer incentives when excess power is being released to the grid. So thank you very much for your time. This is what I can able to present for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Malam Ali. So, do we have questions for him? What question, please? Oh, we are not following. Please, can you give him the microphone? Comments are also comments and contribution to enhance the paper for future.
What I'm saying, anyway, I'm Engineer David Enesi. What I'm saying is that during his presentation, the slide doesn't tally with what he presents, and he has not seen this presentation. I don't know if it's possible for us to still give him like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, so that there are some points I am expecting him to mention.
Okay. If that's something of the house, let's give him. Okay.
The presenters should be allowed to control the slides flow. The third party cannot effectively deliver the slide the way they want to, and is affecting the pace of their presentation. Thank you.
Okay, that's noted. So, yes.
I just want to ask the presenter, although it's not so clear as all others have said, but I want to know the focus of the paper. Is it towards economic dispatch is mentioned? Is it for the power distributors or for the customer? I just want to know. The economy is it for the power distributors to economize? Maybe this customer doesn't need this supply this time around, they divert it to the other customer, or is it for the customer's economy?
Okay, I think that's a direct question which I would like the presenter to answer. Did you hear the question?
Yes, I hear.
I think answer that was before the last question will be asked.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And the person just asked the question, asked whether the economic load dispatch is whether for the generation side or for the demand side. It is a bidirectional approach where the algorithm will choose the generator considering the load demand at a particular time that a particular generator can be used. That means if you can use a lesser generator to supply that at a particular time, then the algorithm will tell you use generator 1, and that is the optimization at the generation site. And then the second objective of the paper is the demand side incentives of those who cannot take the grid directly and use distributed energy resources in their houses as a form of incentives for them. That means there is grid supply on their house, but their load is made by their distributed energy, maybe PV and solar PV solar and wind. These are the two I use in my simulation. So when you are you.
Yes, sir. The conference I got that.
Please, put off your mic if you are not the presenter, please. Online.
Somebody is interrupting. Okay, yes. So at the demand side, the incentive aspect is being emphasized because it increases by about 16% from the simulation result. So that shows that when you use distributed energy at the demand side, it also gives you additional incentives on your load management. Thank you.
Okay. Do you have a last question? Okay. Last question, yeah, or comment.
Please, on line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of your abstract, you have, in order to evaluate, I think that the other, what you have there is OTHER. Please correct it to ORDER. Okay. My question is, I always like keywords in presentations to be explained. I want to ask the presenter, what is particle optimization? What is particle optimization? And then a general comment. I like this presentation because you can see tangible results he's referring to. You can see 9.43%. That gives you an idea of the results the person obtained. You can see 16.18%. So when you say something is good, you should be able to quantify how good it is. Thank you.
Okay. Your comments are noted. So we would move to the next paper. Engineer Guaguanven, if you are around, please let us have your papers. Let's give the last speaker, last presenter, clap for him. Please take note that the Best Paper Award at this conference for the first time, and the criteria, definition of problem, technical innovation, methodology of benchmarking, performance improvement, number of references, how strong your conclusion is, how original is your contribution, how widespread is your data presented, and as well how strong and convincing is your presentation at the conference. So you are being assessed, and there will be a Best Paper Award at the end of this conference. Thank you. Please, Engineer Dr. Guaguanven, you have 10 minutes. Your time starts now.
Okay. I send it. To the email, of course, I send it.
Please, media, help us check out the paper of Dr. Guaguanven Barnabas. Okay. If there any other person is around for this technical session paper B, if you're in this hall or you're online, please let us have your paper. We have Engineer Augustine Okechukwu. Are you ready? So I think Dr. Barnabas has 3 papers. You should be able to fish out one, and he has 3 papers out of the 7 papers. Engineer Augustine Okechukwu Ezenagu, are you there? He has not answered. So, Engineer Bali, you are discharged and acquitted. So you can, go. No, you are not even shown up. I don't lie on Please check.
Okay. Yeah, good morning.
Okay.
I stand on the existing protocol. I apologize for coming late. This is the first paper I would have presented before TERAP. Somebody was asking me, we were discussing with someone about the paper. I co-authored it with TERAP. So somebody was asking about the benefits that he was talking about. It may not be obtainable in Nigeria, but in other countries it's obtainable. Where you generate power, they pay you back as you generate. So that is just what we were talking about. Thank you. So I'm presenting this paper, Leveraging Artificial Intelligence for Short-Term Load Forecasting and Microgrid Operations. Can you go to the next? Okay. Okay, this is how our presentation is going to be. I particularly want to look at the abstract first because that will give us more enlightenment on what we're talking about, introduction, statement of the problem, and then we go to the conclusion. From it, the idea behind this work, the country is faced with challenges of power, especially in the educational institutions. Most of the educational institutions can no longer pay for electricity, as we all know, and most of them are suffering. And so it's important for power engineers to go look around and see that we profile solutions to our various institutions. I am from the University of Jos, and so we looked around. The Nigerian University Commission is installing power in major universities. But you all agree with me that Jos may not really benefit very well from solar due to the nature of the environment there. And so we have to look around and see that we ensure that the right source of power is installed. And then if you are going to provide solution to power, the first thing you do is load forecasting. That is the first thing you will do. Because if you get it wrong from here, you will not be able to get it right any longer. That is why I was, in one of the conferences, I was with one person from BUK who have 75 megawatts of power, and yet when I went in there, I saw them running generator. You can imagine. Because I can't imagine them consuming 75 megawatts, but yet they are running on generator. That is to say, the idea behind the installation of that power system is defeated. So getting short-term load forecasting is very key to the installation of power in any system. So by the time, even in your own home, if you want to really get a generator for your house, you should ensure that you get your load forecast very well. That gives you the idea. And so from the abstract, you can see, we are using artificial intelligence, machine learning, you will call it, methods to carry out our forecast. It's short term. That is to tell you just 24 hours. The next 24 hours, how is it going to be? That is what we are talking about here. And that is what you can see the result, and you see that at the end of the day, the one that has a better percentage, you will see. We are using 3 key performance indexes: the RSM, RMSE, MSE, and then the MPA. So those are the key performance indexes we are using to determine which of these 3 methods are better. To also tell you that these authors have gone ahead, because I know some people will be asking questions, are these just the 3 methods? The authors have gone ahead to publish about 2 to 3 journal papers on different other methods to help us get the best. So you can have options of which of these methods you can actually use. So the study is focused on evaluating and comparing the performance of these 3 methods of optimization. We are optimizing support vector machine using PSO, using neural network, and using simulatic annealing in this work. We've done using other methods in other work, so we are trying to see which one is better. So the need for precise load forecasting to minimize the exponential cost of electricity is what we are trying to, to do. That's the focus. Because, every day, cost of electricity goes up, especially now that you just wake up and then NEC will tell you we've shot the power from, it's no longer linear. It's exponential. It can come to any level. So because of that, that's what this work is discussing. So we are applying machine learning, just like I said, constructing the key performance indexes for each of them to see which one is the best. That's what this work is doing. That's the aim and objective. So the materials we actually use, we got primary data. Primary data is what we use, 5-year historical primary data. That is to tell you that we went and, we harvested this data ourselves from the substation located in the University of Jos. That's what we did. So it wasn't that somebody gave us. It's not a third-party data. It's our own data. We have the primary data, which is key to any research. If you are carrying out a research, you should be sure that it's primary data. Then you can boast and say, yes, I did that work. That was why we did that, from JEDC from there. And then we got the meteorological data from NASA website. This is the one we are not the primary ones that got this. It's from NASA we got. And then we discovered that you can see it's temperature, humidity, solar irradiation, wind speed, and then precipitation. This is peculiar to Jos. In Kano, you may not have this type. In Abuja, you may not use this. Why I'm emphasizing that is because the area from which you come from, the meteorological data that affect your load is what you actually go into. And you see here, we are talking about humidity, because in Jos, from time to time, you can have humidity that affects your load demand. Temperature could be applied to almost everywhere. If the temperature is high, there could be more load demand. If it is low, there could be more load demand. So it's key. And then in Jos, wind speed is also important, and then precipitation. So that's why we use those weather data. In other researches, there are people that just use temperature. Some use just solar irradiation. Some use just speed. But we use more of this to see how these five meteorological data can affect load demand that will meet the demand of Jos as a city. In it, what was done, there are a lot of softwares online that you can just go in, key in these data.
Please, you have 2 more minutes.
And have your results. But then we coded it so that we can be able to give a lot this thing. So here are the results. You can see the results, the actual, and then the predicted for each of them. You can see how they are plotted. These are the results for each of them. These are the key performance indexes for each of the 3 different methods of forecasting. And then this is the conclusion. Did not carry those figures that I gave you in the abstract. But then at the end of the day, we see that just like I said, however, SVM, PSO, and FDC exhibit comparable performance, while slightly better relative error percentages are indicated by their Mappier values, while SVM NN excels in accuracy. SVM and SVM after consistent performance. So that is to tell you that support vector machine neural network gave us the best performance. Thank you. So I would request that, let me just take the 3 of them. I would request, because there are 3 papers I have, so that would be better, because this one you call unit commitment is the one I'm supposed to have presented now. So let's go to the unit commitment.
Note down your questions or comments or contributions while we allow him to do the 2 other papers to conclude this session. And please, when you are making to display the sources of your, whatever you had as sources, to allow people know the range of your data and things like that. Thank you.
That one, we did this 5 minutes. Yeah, next one, yes. Unit commitment, no, not anyone. Unit commitment. I will apologize because he is saying I should display those. You can get it. You understand? Within this period, we cannot bring those data. but the data are available. And that is why we have the email there. And in fact, the coding are available. What we request from you is that if you use our code, just reference us. That's all we want, nothing more.
Please, media, can you project?
Okay, now after carrying out load forecasting, you go into what we call unit commitment. And in this approach, we are looking at 4 sources of power. We have solar, we have the diesel generator, we have what we call pump hydro energy storage. The presentation is just like the other one. We have pump energy storage, and then we have the JED. That is the public power supply. The idea is if you are committing, just like if you are going to commit a generator, which of the units, that's the idea behind it, is that within the 24 hours, which of these 3 sources of power is more economical at what time? So give a typical example, by 12 midnight, for instance, will you prefer to use JED or will you prefer to use diesel generator? But then, in our work, we discovered that diesel generator is out of it, unless if there's emergency, you don't need to use diesel generator, considering the cost of running a diesel generator. So around 12 midnight, the best we discovered was that you use pump hydro. And you'll be asking me, what is pump hydro? If you go to the University of Jos, we have a river that is going around through. Just like here, there's a river just passing by Nile. So Nile could also, take advantage of this river passing, and then you build what we call pump hydro energy storage system. And you can use that as a backup. Instead of using battery, you can use pump hydro. Battery is very expensive. So the solar we are using here is solar without battery. So our solar is basically used within the daytime when we are harvesting. We don't use battery, considering the cost. So instead of using battery, we are using pump hydro. So this is the abstract, just like I said. At the end of the day, you discover that the cheapest is at 30 naira 393 per hour, right? So that is the most effective, and that is particle swarm optimization, simulated annealing, enhanced PSO. That is the one we have. Other ones are there. Emphasize unit commitment planning significance in optimizing power source activation to meet demand while minimizing the cost, recognizing the economic impracticability of continuous operation. Within the 24 hours, which of these 4 sources of power are you going to use that is the cheapest? So you run it and determine which one is cheapest. That is the idea of unit commitment. At around 8 a.m., for instance, which of the sources of power will you use that is cheapest? Is it JED? So it gives you the leverage. Whichever one you think is the cheapest, use it. Our idea at the end is that within 24 hours, how much are you going to save using one of these artificial intelligence techniques? That's the idea. Availability, even before the idea of the Ministry of Power saying you need 20 hours, we had 23 hours. Our problem was not power. Our problem was how much we were paying. So it became a serious problem for us. So that was why we say, okay, fine, how can we go about it? And we say, okay, fine, why not go into a research that is helpful? So we say, let's go for unit commitment. Within 24 hours, we can. We don't have pump hydro right now, but we are thinking about it. In fact, we've had proposal of people coming to see how we can build pump hydro. We don't even have solar. But then, just like I pointed out the challenge VUK is facing, we don't want to face that challenge. That is why we are having other options, so that we can, within 24 hours, be able to get that sorted out. So we use particle swarm. You can see now that this artificial intelligence, we are enhancing PSO with support vector machine, enhancing PSO with simulated annealing to see which of this method, optimization method. You could use any other optimization method. The most important thing is for you to get which of these power sources within 24 hours is cheapest for you to run. That's just the idea. Thank you. So just like I said, within 24 hours, here, why we still refer to the meteorological data because it affects this one too. Just like I said, if you don't have a good forecast, you cannot get a good unit commitment. So that is the idea behind it. And then those were the inputs now we use for unit commitment. It's important we use Python, Spider platform, to code this work. So we coded it. I'm not a computer specialist, so I have to liaise with a computer specialist to be able to code, to code it so that we can be able to have a good result at the end of the day. So now this is it. You can see the cost, the total cost and number of iterations for each of these sources. You can see for PSO SVM, for PSO SA. You look at the graph, the results. This is a practical application. So this is how it was done. You can see the code. You can see how it is plotted. So just like I said, the codes are available as long as we are going to reference us. No problem. Education is for everybody. Thank you. So now these are the results. Total generation is this for PSO SA, and then for PSO SVM, and then for PSO itself is this. So in conclusion, just like I said, PSO SA gave us the most economical cost in optimization for the unit commitment within those periods. We skip, just like I said, because of the number of slides, would have shown you, each of the power sources. You would have seen at 1 a.m. which one was on, which one, is it 2 or 3? So I apologize for that. We can, that one is available if you want. Thank you. Let's go to the ELD.
Let's give a round of applause. The third and final paper from Dr. Gwagwanvem, please.
So you do load forecasting, you unit commit, and then you do economic dispatch. Just like the engineer Tarab said, the idea of economic dispatch is for you to be able to dispatch power economically. And what do we mean by that? If you are going to dispatch power, you dispatch power to where it's needed, not where it is wasted. So that is the idea of that. It's another idea of saying you are load shedding, but that's a different thing you are doing. You load shed anyhow. But this one, you are using machine learning to be able to economic dispatch, because at X hour, you know that, okay, at X hour, the load is much here, so let's send more power to this place. At Y hour, there is no load here. You understand? So let's remove the load from here and take it to where the load are more required. That is the practical application. It's something you can do. So it's not something that is abstract. So here, we are applying other machine learning techniques. Here we have hybrid genetic algorithm, Firefly algorithm approach, which was what we discovered that was the best economic cost at then. We have hybrid genetic algorithm, PSO, then we have genetic algorithm itself. So from it, you can see the percentage of which is the best as compared to others. In the book, I don't know which one, but there is one that didn't have figures, so it was an oversight. So that is why I said, okay, let's be able to project this. And you can see the results compared to HGPSO and GA hybrid genetic algorithm, Firefly algorithm is 20.7%. And it's cheaper than others. So economic dispatch of power generators. So within the university, just like I said, you have different faculties, you have different laboratories, you have hostels, so you agree with me, by 9 a.m., students should be in school, isn't it? So definitely you should not dispatch power to the hostels. Use the power in the lab, use the power in the, in other academic environment. So if at that time you have JED, for instance, that is supplying power, then you shut off completely because you don't need power in the hostel. So that will cut costs, for you in your hostel than just allowing power in it. So that is the idea of economic dispatch. So dispatch for the committed load of power supply sources to minimize cost of, all these are to minimize cost of power supply because of the high cost of power that we are experiencing in the economic environment, especially today. So just like I said, we use 3 more economic dispatch artificial intelligence methods for effective cost of power. So that is how, we, just like I said, we use Python. You can use MATLAB. You understand? MATLAB can give you almost the same result, or even better. But why we are using Python is because Python is free. MATLAB is not free. And most of the MATLAB you have in the market are, what do we call it? They are not original MATLAB. And for those of them that have MATLAB, like Terab had MATLAB, but it's attached to his email, you understand? So he cannot help me. So if I need any work, maybe I have to send to him to do for me, which I think is not the right way. So I don't have original MATLAB. So I said, fine, how do I go about it? A computer friend said, we have Python. Though you do more work in Python than MATLAB, why not try it? So I tried it and it's working for me. That is why I'm using Python. So just to encourage you that there are companies that you can still use. So here, the economic dispatch, you can see this is how they are. It's not very clear for that, but then they have different colors. The different colors represent each of the different sources of power. So within 24 hours, you will see which one is running. There are times that 2 of them you could use, depending on the sources of power, the capacity. Depending on the load demand, you could use 2, you could use 3, depending on how much load you need at X hour. So this is the plot that we got. This is the bar chart. This one gives it more clearer. You can see at certain times, you see only some you see more, some you see less. So this is the result. Hybrid genetic algorithm, Firefly algorithm gave us a cheaper one, 2,753,920 within 24 hours. Unfortunately, GA was the most expensive. But it's not unfortunate because you can see we are saying you are enhancing GA with PSO, you are enhancing GA with FFA. So they should have better results actually than GA, which is just like that. So, and this is the conclusion made, just like from what I said. That one is hybrid GA is more cheap, whereas GA is most expensive. Thank you.
Okay. Let's give him a round of applause. He has presented 3 papers altogether, and this is quite, interesting and commendable. Let's have questions for the presenter, please. Questions? Okay, number 1. I want 5 questions. 1, 2. Okay. 3. 4. We have not taken any question. A woman. 5.
Okay, Prof is there as usual.
Okay, final, Professor.
Thank you, sir. My name is Engineer Abdurrahim Omi. So my question centered around the first paper. You said you use primary data for your analysis. So I want to know I want you to expatiate further how you determine the authenticity of that data. Did you download the load profile through a particular, using the software, through a particular, measuring device, or you get the data from the, distribution substation operator, or you collect the data yourself? Thank you.
Yeah, can I answer that?
Yeah.
It's a station in our university. So we record the data every hour. There's a electronic data counter that does that for us. So you go collect it within that. Not only that did we do, we also went to JED to compare with the one we've collected. An operator could sleep and then just wake up and then write what he wants. You understand? So we didn't want that to do. So we had to compare within those periods and compare those ones. So we got, as you collect data, you must do away with you must carry out what we call, what do we call it now? Every data has noise, what we call noise, isn't it? You have to pick out the noise, and then that was what we did. We picked out those that are not authentic using methods of elimination, you understand, to be able to get the genuine data. That's what we are saying is primary data. Is that okay?
Okay. All right, next. Let's give a woman. There's a woman voice.
Thank you for your good presentation. I am Engineer Dr. Uche Ogbuefi. My question is drawn from your second presentation.
Okay.
That's talking about the economic research. Then I want to ask, do you consider other factors in, because you said when the analysis PSO, you say that is the one that has the least, it has the least costing, and the other one. Then I'm saying, did you consider other factors like the time of availability, the days, the number of hours they are available for use that will now make you to consider the time that makes that PSO to be the least? Because if you don't, if it's not other ones are, if it's not available at all, any time you want to use it, you can easily access it and use it, and the costing may be lesser or something. So do you consider those factors before it? Thank you very much.
Yeah, all those three optimization methods we use the same template for all of them. It wasn't different. The one used for PSO and the one used for all are the same. All those parameters are same for all of them. That is the only way you can do comparison. If you have different conditions for them, you can't say you are comparing. You understand? So you must have the same the same baseline for them. In fact, we looked for, I don't know, I will say this, I looked for a benchmark from IEEE. I've not been able to see, because that would have been a best way to reference. You understand? Let's have a reference benchmark. We are still looking for that. If we get it, we will improve on that. If we have a benchmark, a standard benchmark, that can help on that job. But for now, all the three had the same baseline. Yes, there was no difference at all. Thank you.
Another
Good morning.
question. Okay.
Yeah, I'm Ojukonsin Tebe, NIEE Yanagoa chapter. Okay. The question I want to ask is concerning your first presentation, where you mentioned not using battery for solar power generation. Yeah. The question I want to ask is about reliability of that method because of the intermittency of the weather conditions. So what I want to see if it can be brought to the table is what about the need for fast reaction capacitors, capacitor banks. So in the event that there is cloudiness, so that the load will not fall, to ensure reliability. And I believe that's one of the reasons why most power consumers still maintain the use of fossil fuel, simply because of the reserve spin, in case of a sudden inclusion of a high demand load. The generator will be able to have a reserve to be able to support that load. But in the case of solar, infrastructure, how do we manage that if there is no battery? Thank you very much.
Okay. During this work, we've had so many people that come. But then for those of you that are using solar, you agree with me that the battery sourcing now has become like luck, which is not supposed to be. One thing about battery, because we interacted with manufacturers, one thing about battery, what is said is that if you manufacture battery in the US, for instance, after every 3 months, you are supposed to recharge it if you want to have a good quality battery. That is why, unfortunately, used batteries from the US, if you bring them, they perform better than the new ones you buy here. Why? Because in the initial instance, you didn't get it right. Because the battery had stayed for maybe more than 1 year not charged. So already you are buying a dead battery. And so considering the initial cost of establishing a solar power plant, battery contributes so much percentage in the cost. And you are not guaranteed that if you buy battery, it's going to last 5 years. I'm telling you this. Unless if you are going to air freight it or get a short period within 3 months, the batteries are in Jos. If you do, in Nigeria, if you do that, fine. But the moment it passes the time it is supposed to be recharged, you've lost the battery. So at the end of the day, you discover that you have a solar power plant that is not actually serving you. So we are not using battery. Why? Because of that, and then the cost too. And that is why we are proposing a pump hydro. A pump hydro is like a battery bank, but in a water distance. So at that period, we can use pump hydro. Or worse, the public power supply. And I tell you that we have about 23 hours of public power supply. So if you look at the percentage of problem, it's minimal. Is that okay? Thank you.
It's good. My name is Engineer Dr. Ibrahim Abba from Kano chapter. Sorry, my question goes to a second presentation, that's micro hydro unit. Yeah. So my question goes to that, why did you choose the hybrid? Did you make some comparison of the single method before, taking the hybrid? That's my question.
Okay, I think when we say hybrid means you are having more than one source of power, isn't it? You have generator, you have JED, you have solar, and that is just hybrid. One source is not one source. That is why we use hybrid so that we can have a stable power for 24 hours and at a very minimal cost. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Subo Chapter. Yeah. Thank you, the presenter. You've done so well. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah, for the layman, yeah. Wait now. Okay, let me put it well for you as an engineer. Sending load at the minimal cost of power. You are dispatching load at the most economical, for you as an engineer, I know that's what you want to hear. But we are not all engineers here, so that was why I just did that.
We are all engineers, we will not be power specialists. I mean, that's it.
Yes,
there
that's why we have to consider
broadcast.
those that are around too. That's why, yes. 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 That is it, yeah. Yes. Yeah. What you are saying is a different work completely. You understand? I'm aware of that, but it's a different work completely. Security, economic law, is a different topic on its own that can also take so many, at least we are all power, there are many power engineers here that know that. By the time you add that, you've changed the work completely. You understand? So if you are doing that, you also do a different work. There are so many other constraints you can add to this work that can make it different. So what you are saying is true. You understand? If you add this, you are changing the work. So there are other ones. There is environmental too that you can add that can change. Environmental too.
Okay, because we have a time, and if there are no any other comments or questions, final question, please, Prof.
Okay, thank you once again. Please, I want to commend this particular presenter. It's not easy to do 3 papers at a stretch. So thank you for that. But I want to make this general comment again. You see, all your works are simulated. You see, we have a challenge in the country. I mentioned it yesterday.
Yeah.
We are churning out engineers every year in thousands. If everybody continues to simulate, we cannot solve real problems. Because simulation only enables us to research about things we don't have handy. If you are studying a power system, for example, you will always use simulation, because power system is usually, a vast network. You cannot set up a physical, personal system to research on. But you can scale these things down. Instead of studying a 75 megawatt system, you can do 100 watts. So you have a practical system you can use to validate your simulation results. I've taught engineering mathematics for quite some time. And most times, if you are teaching vectors, you start with the Cartesian coordinate system. And in that case, you assume that all the systems are rectangular. They have square edges and so on. But in reality, it is not so. That's why you go to polar coordinate system, cylindrical system, to go as close as possible to reality. So when we get all these interesting results, so to me, they are fantasies most times. Okay, you have a system, you said one is best, that costs only 30,000 or so. What amount of power did you consider? What amount of power generation? Because you said 30,000 naira. So what quantity of power or energy did you consider in that study? So I want to encourage you. You are doing so well, but we are trying to compete with those who are far ahead of us. I'm not against, competing with US, Europe, and Israel, and all of that in terms of technology. But we need to build our system. Somebody said yesterday, is it this morning? You are developing softwares. Well, softwares for engineers are meant to control hardware. And if you don't have hardware, your software can be used somewhere. When you don't have the hardware system where you can use your software to control. So I want us to always be marrying what we are doing in simulation to practical implementation. Let me give you one example. You talked about primary data, and I like the confidence. You generated this data yourself. But when somebody asked about the authenticity of that data, you admitted that you had to do some manual collection. I did one study where I was trying to do retrofitting for an injection substation. I was trying to develop a current sensor. And the injection substation is analog. So I want to bring in some level of digital data collection system, kind of. So where I installed my Rogowski coils, where I put them very close to the transformer, but the ammeter is inside the control room. So most times when we take measurement outside, by the time you come inside to check the current, something has changed. Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So it affects the data. At the end of the day, you start trying to do some normalization and optimization and all of that. Yeah. So, but now, with IoT, for example, you can, at that point of taking your measurements, install IoT device that can be sending those results in real time to a database. So at the end of the day, you just go to your database and then get all the information at the exact time. So you can now use a more authentic data. What I'm trying to say is let us always try to bring in some practical environment where we can verify or validate our simulation results. Thank you.
Thank you, distinguished professor, for this comment. In fact, the few minutes. Thank you, Mr. Presenter.
Okay.
You are discharged and acquitted.
Thank you, sir.
Please, we are going to have Best Paper Award based on the problem definition, technical innovation, methodology, benchmarking, performance improvement, how many references, how is the conclusion done, how original, how widespread is the data, and how well presented and defended. So there will be awards for each of the papers. And this is the first institute of all the engineering institute in Nigeria that is going into this innovation at conference session. Please, we would entertain comments, contribution to enhance the integrity of paper we have had just for 3-4 minutes. What are those things you think are lacking that can be done by our presenter to enhance their presentation and their paper quality? 2-3 minutes. Thank you. Past President, Engineer Mashe.
Yes, I want to commend all those that have participated in this discourse. Both those who ask the questions, the presenters, and those who are supervising the whole thing. One thing I always emphasize is when we go for a conference, we should be looking out for something. And then, ask yourself, when you are preparing this paper, how marketable? Is my paper bankable? A bankable paper, at least to approach it, is the one that you can take to the bank. I don't have the resources, and when they look at it, that's why you see the banks employing engineers and others. That's the main reason. They have to review it. When of its truth, they can stake their name, then you come up. We are really in need of some people, especially we electrical. The whole nation is watching us. That's the reason why we are chartered. So please, I am yet to see them properly. Tell us at the end. I think we also include in it, in our, how bankable is our paper. We were looking for that, so that NIEE can now say, okay, fine, let's look for the Dangotes. Let's look for all those who can say, okay, yes, we need people that can help us. Like the tricycles that have come. People did papers like that. Now say, how can we market it for us to come with a breakthrough? I have one question continually. Yes, when we are a division, yes, we are coming out first, yes. What is the outcome of the first? So has it put food on our table as electrical electronics engineers or electrical chartered? So electrical engineering personnel, right from craftsmen. The craftsmen have taken all our jobs because so the issue now is we must come up. Let's challenge ourselves. Okay. Thank you very much.
Past President Omashe, only one other person because of time. Please.
Thank you, my past president. My name is Engineer Dr. Kazim Ojukutu, FNIEE. Just like what the past president said, I want to toe that line. For some of us in the industry, just like where I am from, we are having a big challenge in terms of relay coordinations. So for the paper presenters, I want a situation whereby they can partner with industries. We have NIEE across the nation. Go to various chapters, probably what are the issues and problems and challenges we are having in these industries. How can we support? What are the analysis? What are the research that we can do to mitigate these issues that you are having? Those are the kind of presentation for me I want to see. So at the end of the day, we can go back to the industry. I said, these issues, these are the solutions. How can you buy into it? How can we solve it together? The issues of relay coordinations have been a major issue for us. In my place, we have seen a situation whereby we have even sent people to India and to Europe, but till now it still exists.
Okay, thank you. What's the name again?
Engineer Dr. Kazim Ojiko.
Engineer Dr. Kazim, from which chapter? Calabar. Please, I think we can all learn from what Dr. Kazim has said. Our papers.
Please, students who are here, move to Bangi room 202 now. Bangi room 202, students. Thank you.
So, in summary, please let's listen attentively. Our papers must address our local problems and challenges. Please, a paper that we want at this conference, that a paper that can add value to you as individual, add value to your organization, add value to your environment. How do you do that? Go to the university. They have, power problems here, I believe, lots of them. If you interact with the lecturers, interact with the students, what are the power challenges? When we were coming this morning, we saw 33 kV line and, 11 kV. At the same level, just one above the other. That's danger that is begging to happen. How can you solve that problem? That should be, a research, a project for one of the staff and students in this university. Local problem. We saw it ourselves. And one of my past presidents drew my attention. And when I analyzed power distribution, I quickly saw the problem and the danger. But if you are not in power distribution, it may not make serious difference. But we know it's a calamity waiting to happen. The same thing when we want to enter the car park. There's so much crowdiness, which an electrical engineer can, by proper timing, by, designing, a sort of control. Please, especially our lecturers in this university, next year where we are going to be in Osogbo, you must bring, researches and projects based on some of the problems we have identified while we are here, and your solution. For me, if I design that sort of solution, it will be you want to enter the car park. You pay a little token, but you take stress off. That one will bring money to the university. The one that relates to the 33 kV and 11 kV, dangerously on the same line. If you go to the distribution company in charge of this area, Abuja, the CTO was there. I have his number. I will call his attention to it. We must have a solution to it. But it is the university will benefit if they solve that problem in an ingenious way. Usually, whatever method that will still be safer and will correct the error, they will be very happy and they will pay university for it or any other researcher. These are the sort of problems we want to be treating in our conferences. Thank you. Sorry, yesterday there was a paper. The organizer have just begged this host at this conference that allowed the man just 10 minutes. That is online. The paper is titled An Intelligent Human Presence Sensing System for Smart Room Power Management by Engineer Dr. Olumide O. Ajayi. 10 minutes. Please, can you share online, Engineer Dr. Olumide? We want to have you 10 minutes. An Intelligent Human Presence Sensing System for Smart Room Power Management. Engineer Dr. Olumide. 10 minutes, please. Please, if you are not, because our time is actually up, but if you are on, because, we can take you just spare 10 minutes. Okay. So please, let us clap for ourselves. All of you that have made this the time very worthwhile, both the presenters all members that are contributing questions, my colleagues at this table who have assisted with moderation. I thank you, all of you, and I wish the best paper win this first edition of Best Paper Award at this conference. Thank you.
Let's jam our hands together for them. Let's celebrate them. Chairman, thank you very much. And the rapporteurs. And please, our assessors also should help us to make sure that you send in your report to ensure your report gets to the rapporteur. I mean, our co-chairman, Engineer Nwogbo. So you go around to collect all those things, and the rapporteurs, let's give a report to him so that we can work on them. And I also want to announce to us that there's going to be a rapporteurs meeting, but general meeting. I will announce to us the venue of the meeting. Thank you very much. Let's celebrate them as they leave the stage. As I invite Engineer Olaniyan, FNI EEE, a past president of the Institute, to come and direct and chairman the next session, session C. Celebrate those who are going out and celebrate those who are coming in. Engineer Olafemi Olaniyan, we're waiting for you, sir. Okay, you are submitting your... Are you still, hold on, you are still using it for... Okay, they'll give you a fresh one for the session. Please, let's write the session on 8. Session C is going to be here. Session E is going to be in Ubangi. The titles that will be held here, that will be taken here as follows: the increasing significance of cybersecurity in digital era, RoboFlow assisted YOLOF9 based object detection for agricultural crop identification, then development of an IoT-based parking system for smart cities, unmanned emergency detective system using IoT. That's the session taking place here. On the other side, we are going to have session on renewable energies. Harnessing renewable energy, a sustainable future for rural farming community, and so on and so forth. That's going to take place in Ubangi in room 108. So please, let's do. If you are moving to that side, you can go there now. As I hand over to our chairman and the past president of this session, Engineer Olafemi Olaniyan, FNI EEE. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, my deputy president. I was actually looking for the magic I will use to run through this, as I don't have a copy.
I'm sorry I didn't announce the rapporteurs. I'm sorry, sir. Here are the rapporteurs for this session. Professor John Paul Ilo. Professor John Paul Ilo, please come up here. Dr. Abba Ibrahim is already here. So please, two of you coming here. Engineer Joseph Emeshile, I expected him. We see here. It's not. So, thank you very much, sir.
the NIEE, our executive committee members at both the chapter and the national level, our fellows, our members, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure and honor to welcome you to the technical session C of the International Conference on Energy and Telecommunication, Power and Telecommunication. I want to welcome my rapporteurs, Professor Ilo and Professor Abba Ibrahim. We will be running through 4 papers. We have been given a very strict time schedule for those papers. And those papers, both for question and answer and presentation of the papers, is just 20 minutes. And at the end of the paper presentations, we will have 30 minutes for discussion. And so to get the table rolling, the ball rolling, I want to invite Engineer Babagana Sadiq, who will be presenting a paper on the increasing significance of cybersecurity in the digital era. Is Engineer Sadiq here? Is he here? Or is it online? Can we know if it's online or in person? Okay, we'll move to the next presenter, Engineer Segun Sholi. Engineer Segun Sholi, is he here or online? Engineer Segun Sholi, okay. He's here, all right. He's going to be presenting a paper, RoboFlow Assisted YOLOF9-based object detection for agricultural crop identification. Can we have the slide presented? I don't want your time to run until you are ready, until we are ready, actually. Can we have the slide presented so that we can we have some quiet, please? Please, hello, at the entrance. Can you, we're in a session. Right, I'm handing over to you right now. Your time starts.
Yeah, thank you very much. Without wasting much of our time, I'll just go straight to the presentation. My name is Olusegun Sholi, and from Center for Space Transport and Propulsion, Ekpe, Lagos, and with my colleague, Dr. Mary Adedoyin, from Lagos State University, Ekpe campus. So I'm going to go through maybe you just have to pause the... Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to go through the contents. This is exactly what I'm going to actually talk about today, which of course everybody can see. Because of time, I think I'm going to start with the introduction, from there to methodology and result, then conclusion. All right, the problem statement. What we have already seen, as we have known that what this job is all about, or what this project is all about using the modern technology or the so-called new technology, all right, emerging technology to actually solve some of the problems that we have in agriculture. But the point is this: before now, we have been using some other methods to actually identify some crops or to identify some problems or diseases on crops. But how do they, what are the problems that we've been facing? Normally, traditional method rely on manual inspection, which of course is time-consuming and labor-intensive. Also, human error, which of course we cannot definitely rule that one out, which of course delay response contribute to poor disease management. Also inadequate for large-scale farming, or that is, you cannot scale it up, right? Also result, of course, this due to the losses, that will definitely lead to inefficiency in the disease management or control. See, we can just see this. This is really what used to happen before, whereby if there is any problem with any of the crop, people will line up and try to use different materials, different equipment, like you can now see what this person is using, microscope, and they can see hand microscope or hand lens, like that. Of course, the information will be taken from there, and some people will just be using their hands to actually write all this record and put all this into records, right? But then, the solution we are proposing in this project, RoboFlow assisted YOLO version 9 for crop identification. Well, all those grammar, don't mind them. The first one, which is so-called YOLOF, that's nothing but, normally the Gen Z, they used to say YOLO, YOLO, YOLO. When they say YOLO, that means that you only live once. That is, if anybody maybe want to do something, say, I cannot die. You only live once. You only die once, then you go for it. So, but then in digital or in computer engineering, what that one is all about is you only live once. Version 9. We have version 1 to 9, or now it's like we have up to 11. But the point is this. This is a model in which is based on CNN. The CNN is not the cable network, cable news network. It's actually convolutional neural network. So while the RoboFlow, this particular one is used to streamline data labeling and enhance training workflow for better model precision. The major issue is this: because the data you are going to get, you have to make sure that you prepare this data in such a way that you can now feed this data into the model for you to actually have a good prediction. All we want to do is to be able to predict the problem. Maybe when you look at a particular thing, you can say that, oh, this thing belongs to this class. Then you can now even narrow down and say that, okay, this thing that belongs to this particular class, the name of that particular crop is this. So that is exactly what we want to do. And that is actually going to help us in our agricultural management. All right, so now, it will be able to actually solve the limitations of manual detection by providing scalable automated crop disease identification. Also, to evaluate the effectiveness, that is the essence of the job, to evaluate the effectiveness of YOLO version 9, supported by RoboFlow in agricultural crop identification. So this is kind of stuff that we are trying to propose. You can see we have agricultural crop here and there we have our UAV. Of course, normally it's not as maybe you are producing UAV, we are not producing UAV, we are not even using anything. Our goal is just to prepare a kind of software that can be run on this kind of hardware, and of course, which of course will definitely be transmitted into somewhere that can be analyzed using the data analytics. All right. So actually, this is just about the crop detection or identification, which of course, as we know that in precision agriculture is absolutely very, very important, that we have to use crop identification or crop detection. So, and that will definitely help us in increasing the productivity of our farming practices. Also, the object detection has emerged as a significant advancement in agricultural practices, and then which, of course, by using of AI-based system, we can definitely achieve all this. Now, this work is actually, from the perspective, we want to look at it from a fresh perspective on precision farming and sustainable agricultural practices in the area of artificial intelligence and automation, right? So, and then we are using, normally from YOLO version 1 to 9, definitely there are a lot of achievement which they've been able to achieve, but then there are still some other hidden problems, like tackling of small objects, occlusion. Occlusion is when you have maybe something is preventing, when you have a frame whereby you have this object here and there's another object at the back in such a way that you will not be able to actually predict or see the object at the back. That is occlusion. So this model tackles that. And as I said, that model, of course, is a free source. It's something that somebody can see that when people actually spend so much money, because to develop some of this software and some of these model, that's the reason why we were talking yesterday. Some of the problems we have in the country with the engineers, no matter what we do right now, ability to actually use, everybody will say that, look, you use AI, use AI. Well, when you say use AI, do you know how that one is being used to actually achieve some things? And there's so many free things that we can even leverage on and use to solve some of the problems we have in the country. Right. Having said that, normally, I think Professor Ilo was talking the other time. So, for instance, I look at this kind of hardware.
You have 4 minutes left.
How many minutes? 4 minutes. All right. So, this is just a camera with electronics and some other gadgets like that. So, this is exactly what we are thinking. Of course, I think I just have to move from here so that the challenges in which we have that we want to solve, they are here, but there are some things that we need to actually, since we have only 4 minutes. The framework, we have the framework to be this. Of course, we have from input, because this time around we are talking in terms of images. Okay, the input will come in over there, and we have the RoboFlow will come in here for the image processing. And then the backbone, which is the software itself, that is the RoboFlow, YOLO version 9, will definitely be distributed to about 3 areas, such a way that all these details, like small, medium, and large details, will definitely be predicted by one arm. And then, of course, all of that one will do their own, and then combine together. That's just the framework. The data collection. Yes, we're talking about data collection. I got small from Cargo web page. And then from there, I got another one, which of course, the major one actually came from Nigeria. And by the time I show the picture right now, you're going to see that definitely most of them actually came from Nigeria, from our farm. So, because of time, so integration of this, total number of images, I have about 524. Normally, I had about 1,005 before, but because of the fact that this is a public, this particular version in which I use, I didn't pay for it. It's a free version. So that's some limitation. Also, the training model, the training itself, the model, actually I'm using this darknet. Of course, that is the backbone of the model itself. Because of time, because of the fact that we need a GPU, that particular model actually runs on this GPU from RoboFlow, which of course has this specification. Because of time, these are the training metrics, and then also the train test speed. Of course, before you do anything, you have to make sure that all the data sets, divide them into train, test, and the validation, which of course is done. And then by the time you now look at, these are the parameters we will set for the simulation to run. And all of you, I know everybody should be able to actually agree with me that by looking at this, all of you know that definitely some of these things are from Nigeria. Majority of them are from Nigeria. So how do we detect them? Let us go ahead. So, result. Okay. All right. So we have what we call the virtual and the quantitative results. And because of time, I think that we have to be moving fast a little bit. I train the system. The mean average precision increases like that. and then the losses, decreases like that. Because of time, I need to move. The class average precision, this is exactly what we can see. And also, we have all this as normally you can see that as epoch actually increases, of course, the losses actually decreases. And then, while the other one that actually moves as the precision for different train, validation, and the test. All right, and then we can see this very one, which of course this one is more like the smooth aspect of it. And then also the prediction, this is the level I go for the prediction. And then from there, for Lagos Spinach, I noticed that was able to detect it, and then the precision is about 0.6, and then another one 0.3. You can see that 0.6 is still very has confidence, a little, a moderate confidence in detecting it. Also, maize 2 was able to be detected properly with very good prediction confidence. Also, red pepper 2, 0.59, and then something like wheat has a very low confidence, but then it was able to detect it. Jam 2 was low, but then was able to detect it. So there is sorghum 2, confidence is that very low. But in all, we notice that some of these crops were able to be detected fully. All right, but then the level of confidence may be very low, but notwithstanding, we're able to detect them. But mind you, as I said, it's actually a free version. So area for improvement. So with this very one, we have to upgrade to the paid version, and not only that, data quality and quantity. So because of the fact that total number of data that one was able to actually do was about 500. Of course, 500. Of course, can have more than this if I've actually paid for that. Of course, having more data will definitely enable the system to be more robust. So, conclusion. So, we believe that since I was able to actually detect some of this with this public version of RoboFlow, and I believe that definitely this can be used in agricultural practices to detect even diseases that may be affecting our crops, and that will definitely increase the productivity of our farmers. Of course, as I said, sir, I know you will be talking about simulation. Normally, the kind of stuff that gets you, because in terms of AI right now, once you get your model as a software, you can definitely probably pay to probably AWS or Google web services in such a way that they will help you to host it, and then you can now probably, when you are in the farm, you can now probably use a kind of system to connect with it in such a way that you can identify some of those, probably say, some of those diseases that may probably be affecting the crop itself. On the most serious note, because of the fact that time is actually is of essence, so that is the reason why. So I think I need to actually say thank you very much.
Thank you, Engineer Dr. Suli. We will go into a period of question and answer for just 10 minutes or so, and then I will call on my two rapporteurs to make one or two comments. So if you have any questions or answers, please just indicate by raising your hand. I hope the presentation was not too high-tech. Yes, anyone with question, comment? Okay, we have gentleman there. Anybody else? So that you could note how many people. Yes, the gentleman in front here. So let's have your question or comment.
Thank you for the highly enlightening presentation. My name is Engineer Afolabi Thomas Awe from Port Harcourt chapter. Yeah, my question, looking at this, actually, I believe that technology is to enhance problem solving and to make a mass effort less while we gain better results. So I'm struggling to see how this apply the context of this research or this solution, in the sense that, let's say I'm a farmer, I'm looking at it from that angle, I planted my product, so why do I need to deploy this high tech just to know my products or to assess them? So what is the rationale? Is it, are we looking at maybe just crops in the bush or forest or things that I need to identify? So this aspect is not clear to me. And what is the benefit for me that make me to go into deploying this? Thank you.
Can I go ahead, sir? Okay.
Let's have the two questions, and then you can now respond.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am Engineer Dr. Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed from MENA chapter. Mine is just an observation. In your illustration, you actually illustrated foreigners, or do I say, why don't you use Nigerians? That's just the observation.
It's a very valid observation. In one of the slides, what you are identifying is marijuana. That's popularly called Igbo. Yes. If you look at one of the slides, what that, what do you call it? What is being identified is marijuana. No need. Why I'm saying that is that it's actually used for that also. Drug law enforcement agencies deploy this technology to identify farms where they are planting marijuana. So NDLA may be a very good client for you. And when you get the job, remember to do the needful. So I'm going to hand over to my rapporteurs. 2-minute comment, question, and then we'll close the session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, yes, it's a wonderful, a very good paper for the Engineer Shogun. It's well presented. Just my observation or rather my contribution is that already there are some existing AI doing those things that you can identify your crop. In fact, they can even detect the kind of attack by the disease or pest that they can even give you a solution to the remedies, the type of chemical that you can use. So is there any integration that you can, add to this in order that so you can have an edge to that what has already been previously done? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And the presenter, this is another very interesting paper presentation addressing emerging technologies. I think the presenter did well this time to explain some keywords. That's a good way to start your presentation. Explaining the keywords in your paper title so that the audience will flow with you. I don't have much to say, but I would just want to ask you, what is the cost implication of deploying this technology? We are trying to address problems of agriculture in Nigeria. When farmers hear of this, they will be interested in it. Now, give us an idea of what the cost of deploying this technology will be. And finally, yes, you said you used a free version of, I think, some software. I want to suggest to you to probably step up the research by applying for a grant. There are so many of them available. One I'm chasing now is from Royal Academy of Engineering. They have so many calls, openings. Just go and browse for, Royal Academy, or even calls for grants on the internet. You will see so many of them. So with this kind of research, is one of the in things now, emerging technologies, AI, and so on and so forth. You can get a grant to step up this research. Thank you.
Thank you. And so we'll go back to you, sir. Yeah. Kindly address the questions and then the comments from the rapporteurs.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes. I think the first person, Engineer Afolabi, actually mentioned the fact that it's like maybe he was unable to, and maybe because of time, was unable to actually appreciate what this will do for a farmer. Why high-tech? Whereby you can actually look at this his crop and know that this is tomato, this is. But the point is this. Most of the problems that we do have with our farmers, for instance, we notice that everybody will say, lack of storage facility. But it's more than that. The kind of problem is more than that. But you know because at times, if you have headache, for instance, maybe that headache is not the actual headache that you have. Maybe there's some eating thing within you. So, but if you are able to dictate that headache on time, then maybe that will definitely solve a problem, right? That is the reason why this kind of a technology is for you to be able to use it to detect those, the healthy, because normally you know the healthy crops. I know the one that is being affected. So in as much that when you use this, because like all those drones or whatever, you are using them to actually comb the environment, and then maybe you have a kind of database somewhere where you used to analyze those things. So if there's any problem, you will notice that immediately. And then, of course, from your analytic display or dashboard, you'll be able to know that, okay, this is the problem. So you have to maybe you need to apply some chemicals to actually mitigate the effect of the disease. So that is about that. Then also, I think Engineer Abubakar Sadiq actually mentioned the fact that he saw some foreigners. See, let me just let you know, all those previous pictures that you saw over there, I use AI to generate them, right? But, like everybody say AI, but to get something like that, you need to give what we call the required prompt. So using prompt engineering, you'll be able to actually generate those images that I've already done. So, but then I told the system, we first started, it just gave me white all around. I said, no, race, it should be. So after that, and I said, can you just include black people? That's the reason why you're able to see some black. So we have white, and then we have, when you look at all those white too, not all of them are actually white. We have colored, and we have some of them that are probably from the South Asian or wherever. So since the black is there, I think it will be universal for everybody. So that is the reason why. When you look at that properly, I think I have maybe about 4 black inside that particular whatever. So that is about that. And also, okay, thank you, sir, for what you just told me with respect to the NDLA. Somebody mentioned that, okay, yeah, the technology is already exists. It is true. There are so many technologies that are there. But the point is this: what is our own in-house or our own local development of some of these things? Some of these things are over there. As I said, everybody can use, even our past presidents, they use AI for it. The point is this: those models, they are there free of charge. Ability to put them together. For instance, right now, as they mentioned, I've already gotten, because what happened is this: if you want to run some of these programs, you will require even the so-called Google Colab using Python. You will need to pay, or in a day they will give you a slot. Once you exhaust that slot, you are a goner. So what happened is this: so I've already bought my own nano. There's a particular system like that I can cascade together to give me very high capacity for me to have a GPU, that is a graphical processing unit, right? Because that is exactly what you need to actually do some of this. Because we are talking about pictures, and then if you want to run anything on that, definitely you need high power. So I'm on my own because, of course, at times when you want to do it from the corporate level, there might not be enough money, but, So with that one, I think I'm trying to localize it in such a way that I should be able to actually develop some of those things. And then when you develop, it's only the software. You just allow it to run on some of these cloud, right? When it runs on the cloud, it's a matter of applying it. Since you have internet, with your camera, probably in the farm, you'll be able to use that. that means that we are using it on our own. We are actually
Dr. Shuli,
domesticating
the
it.
time for this session has run out.
Okay, so thank you very much. So the last one, I think, is the grant. Thank you very much. I will do that. And then what is the cost implication? I think at this level is going to be comparable to the foreign one, because since the technology, since the input is being done here, and then some of those things are free, and some of the things we are going to pay for will not be too much, I believe that definitely with the kind of population we have, I think it should be able to be affordable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shuri. I think he has not been discharged and acquitted yet.
Okay, yeah.
I think this paper is a good stepping stone for further exploration. One thing I would have loved to see is one or two products that you went deeper with. You know, you talked about accuracy of the model. How accurate is it? For instance, I know it's used to detect diseases in agricultural produce. Go deep with one or two of those products and then get a higher rate of accuracy. And then come back at the next Icept and dazzle us.
All right,
I want to thank Dr. Shuli for his presentation. I think he deserves a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
Go to the next presenter, Dr. Engineer Mrs. Mary Adedoni. Is she here? Okay. Just step up to the podium. She's going to be making a presentation. Paper is titled Development of an IoT-based Parking System for Smart Cities. Let's clap for her. Let's encourage her. Let's have the paper projected. When it's projected, I'll start recording your time. I forgot to mention that the papers are being assessed. And the best paper is going to be given a prize. The criteria for assessment I don't have immediately with me, but before this session is over, I will mention them. So, we're ready to go. You have 10 minutes for your presentation, and you have 10 minutes for your Q&A. Let's go.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't see the... Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, the co-chairman, the rapporteur, my fellow engineers. Today, I will be presenting on the title, Development. My presentation is on page 26. I will be talking about the development of an IoT-based parking system for smart city. I am engineer Dr. Mary Adedoni. This paper is co-authored with engineer Dr. Abayomi Yusuf, engineer Shehu, John Olubemi is our student, and then engineer Shegun Shuli from Space Center. All right, the outline of my presentation, I will be talking about the introduction to the topic. We look at some literature before we come up with our own developments, the methodology that we use, the results, and the conclusion. Okay, by the way of introduction, we are talking about smart city. And smart city is about urbanization. And urbanization has led to increase in traffic congestion. It has led to limited parking spaces. It causes fuel wastage, time loss, and driver stress. and it also contributes to environmental pollution, that's air pollution. And as a result of this problem, there should be efficient parking management system to address that problem in order to enhance urban mobility and sustainability. So smart city is powered by an emerging technology called Internet of Things, connecting things together, and it offers real-time monitoring as well as automation in order to improve the urban infrastructure and services. And then this system that we are talking about, that we call it IoT-based parking system, is a parking system. We have our traditional parking system, but this type is actually is based on internet, and it's one of the emerging technology in order to solve the problem of traffic congestion. And then the system also, it uses this technology in order to connect devices together. We use sensors, we use machine learning algorithms. We develop some application in order to make use of the hardware. Actually, the figure that we have to the right is an example of, this is an example of IoT-based parking system. This system that we are seeing is actually the IoT-based parking system. These are cars being parked. So what's the problem that we are trying to solve? Actually, traditional parking management system, they are inefficient. And then it causes air pollution because you have to start looking for where you are going to park your vehicle. And as a result of that, it's increased fuel consumption, traffic congestion, and then driver frustration. So, and also there is no lack of real-time data. There is nothing like a user experience that is seamless. And then we cannot even introduce the traditional system, parking system with the urban services that we have now as a result of emerging technology. So what do we do? So there is a need for a more efficient, user-friendly solution in order to address this issue and improve urban mobility. And we see a case study of that in this conference. For those of us that we arrived on Monday, we couldn't start the program on time because of the issue of traffic congestion. So I think Nieee University, they will need to deploy our solution in this university. So what's our contribution? Our contribution is the development of IoT-based parking system. And then we develop mobile app to control the system and to check parking space availability, reserve spots in advance, and receive notification on your Android phone. And all these are brought about using machine learning algorithms. Actually, we use deep learning to achieve all this. For the software, for the mobile app, we use Flutter. And for the back end, that's the database, we use Firebase. So we actually look at 3 papers related to our own. The first paper here, they use IoT also. There is now real-time monitoring, easy, and support various sensors. But the problem with this, and that's the method they use Arduino microcontroller, but well, we can say by the time I'm talking about our own, we see the advantage of our own over that, but we can see the high deployment costs. It is not available, and also there is power consumption is very high. So the second paper that is related to our own, they use RFID, that's radio frequency ID, and then sensors as well. We can see this is cost effective, but the problem with this is that the accuracy is very low, depending on the weather condition. And the last one, they also use IoT and cloud computing. It's scalable for data storage and processing in real time. And then the sensor they actually use ultrasonic sensor. They use cloud computing for their own data processing. But the problem is that there is a very high latency during peak traffic hours. This latency is the delay in the time for you to make your reservation and get responses. Okay, this is our methodology. This is our system here, IoT. I decided to use a block diagram, not to use the circuit diagram. And the reason is because this work is being funded by our IBR, and by the time we are done, we don't want it to be hijacked from us. Okay, so this is the hardware side, and this is the software. It has both hardware and software. The hardware, we make use of ESP8266, that's a microcontroller. Then we use ultrasonic sensor. This ultrasonic sensor is actually what measures the distance between the objects and come back again to the sensor for the measurement of distance to detect the absence or presence of a vehicle. And then the ESP8266 is the microcontroller that controls this sensor and the cloud infrastructure. Then we use AC power source. Actually, we can also use DC. We can use battery. We can use solar to power our system. And then we develop a mobile app, like I said, and that is the Firebase, which is the Firebase is the database where our data is being stored. Okay, our system design, we actually have 3 components. We have the IoT hardware, that is ultrasonic sensor, and the microcontroller, that's 8266. We have cloud infrastructure, that is Firebase for data storage in real time, for management and synchronization. And then we develop a mobile app using Flutter in order for us to have a user-friendly interface for you to see what you are requesting for. And then we have hardware implementation. For the ultrasonic sensor, we deploy ultrasonic sensor as each parking space in order to detect vehicle presence and measure the distance using the time of ultrasonic pulses. And
You have 2 minutes left.
Okay, and then these are the this is ultrasonic sensor, this is the microcontroller that we use, and then this is the vehicle that we use for this. This is actually the system that we designed. This is the erected IoT Pro that we designed. And then for the mobile app, I've told about that. Then for the security, before I leave that, we did data encryption that is powered by ML, that's machine learning algorithms. We did authentication in order for users to identify before they use the system. Then the access control is being implemented based on the algorithm. And then we follow privacy in order to control the data and then ensure the data. So this is the, this is actually the real-time update. This is the app that we developed. This is onboarding to tell us about your name, email, and all that password. This is the environment of the testing. This is the front of our Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering in Lasso Ekpe campus. And this is the mosque in front of it. This is from the app. And then this is what we use as a case study. In this place now, if you see the first one, we see presence of one vehicle. And on the app, actually, that is what you are seeing in this place. And then this is the Firebase overview of the data. We are taking data on a daily basis, and we're able to test the app in 30 days. These are the data for number of time user spend on the app to book for the slots. And then this is our results. For the results, we use high. If our result is more than 90%, we have mathematical equations to do all this accuracy and the latency and all that. If it is less than or if it is greater than or 90 degree, greater than or equal to 90 degree, that is categorized as high. Medium is between 18 and 89.99, and then for the low, when it is less than or equals to 79, and that is how we arrive at this results. We use accuracy for us to know whether it is accurate in detecting vehicle. This is our own developed system. We check it with IoT-enabled system based on the results.
Please go to your conclusion.
Okay, that based on the report, and then for the performance, we can see that it's very high as well. And for the system performance, we have 98% accuracy. For the impact of urban management, we have reduced that to 30%. For the user feedback, 90% of user, they experience satisfaction. And then fuel consumption actually reduced. And lastly, the development and testing of the system have been successful. We've been able to provide an efficient solution in real time. And then the system holds significant potential for integration into a smart city initiative. It has a way of reducing traffic congestion, lower fuel consumption, contribute to environmental sustainability. Then in the future work, we are going to integrate payment gateway. And then we are going to scale it up in order to integrate it with electric vehicle, that when you park, you can actually charge. And also we are looking at a situation whereby the roof of the car park will be based on solar. We install
You have
PV
exceeded
panel.
your time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Let's clap for the presenter. I think I would have liked to see the conclusion, but I'm sorry. Okay, is that what you are doing? Okay, yes, I didn't look up. So I think this is a really interesting paper in that it applies to a very practical need. But this is my own question. You answer it with the other questions. We'll take questions from the audience and then from the rapporteurs. Did you produce a prototype? How long have you been testing the prototype for? And is it scalable? That's my question. I will hand over to the audience. Let's have your questions and comments. Questions and comments to the paper. Okay. Let's start from the back, yes, and then come to the front here. Just two people. Just to yes, the gentleman in front.
Thank you.
Okay.
My name is Engineer Robert Chukwemeka. My question is this. It said in ultrasonic sensor in IoT parking detects the presence of vehicle in a parking space. My question goes like that. In a situation where the vehicle was removed without the consent of the owner, do you have a device that can actually detect when the vehicle will be removed without the consent of the owner? What you said is in ultrasonic sensor in IoT parking, it detects the presence of a vehicle. Thank you.
Yeah, once again, my name is Engineer Afolabi Tomosawe from Port Harcourt. Yeah, thanks, Engineer Dr. Adedonyi. This has been a very well-resourced and well-developed product. Yeah, just to check out that most of the time we don't try to reinvent the wheel to see whether if there are existing platforms that are available within Nigeria to actually start with. So I don't know whether during the course of your literature review or your research that we are able to go around the country to search whether there are existing platforms that can be improved or upgraded rather than just starting this research work all over. So I think my second question will be answered about the scalability of this product and what is the ease of deployment. You talk about having an app on the phone. So have you considered have you put other factors into consideration, such as what type of phones can be used, and how is it network dependent? So these are the few contributions that I have. Thank you. It's a well done job. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the permission once again. I am Engineer Dr. Abubakar Sadiq Mohammed from MENA chapter. Mine is just, I'm interested in the currency of your literature review. That's just the currency, how current is.
I will call my rapporteurs to give their comments and questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think yes, it's a wonderful research paper. In this current situation we're having with too much, vehicle, when coming to, a place, offices and other things, it's a good work. But the issue now, what I wanted to is that, during your course of presentation, like you are mixing, is it specifically for the traffic control or for the parking space? That is one observation that, because when we take the traffic control is on the highway and main of the road, but when you are the parking space. Thank you.
All right, thank you once again. Another interesting topic, I will just make one comment and then ask one question. IoT is one of the emerging technologies that we must harness. In fact, I'm also doing a work, energy metering system using IoT-based energy metering system sponsored by the NCC. Hopefully in the next Icept, I should be able to present the prototype. Yes. So I want to ask you, you used ESP8266, okay? I would like to know why you used it. How many of these devices did you produce? How many of it did you produce? Is one ESP32 per unit? Okay, and one sensor per unit. Okay, you will answer. Then, of course, okay, you can answer the question asked. If you don't answer it well, maybe I will also add something to it. For the person that asked about theft of vehicle, it's okay. Thank you.
You have the floor.
Thank you so much, sir. The first question says, did you do prototype? The answer is yes. And I showed you the other time the prototype of the system. It consists of ultrasonic sensor, one per unit. It has ESP8266, one in a unit. It has connection and all that. And we produce 4 of that because we are testing 4 car park slots. Okay, then how long have you tested it? At least before we came up with the paper, we tested it for 30 days. We have a car space in front of our department that we deploy each unit of the system. And then when vehicle comes at different times of the day, we look at the place because that place is reserved for the HOD and then other 3 lecturers. But for that period, we told those people that they have to give them so that when other people are coming to visit our department, they can also. And then when you book from home, you can know the amount of time it will take you from your house to that place and to know whether the place is available by the time you will get there. And there is a place where you are going to register your registration plate number, because when you are not the one that the sensor, there is a way it would prevent you from parking there. There is a bar in between, because the bar will not open if you are not the right place, the right person that booked the slot. So that's about that. Then how long? Okay, 30 minutes. Is it scalable? Yes, sir. It's very scalable. Then presence of vehicle without consent of the owner. Like I said, we wrote some machine learning algorithm for data encryption and user privacy. You cannot, in fact, immediately you park your vehicle, the bar, there is something that will come up when you park your vehicle. So there is no way the bar will open for somebody that is not the owner of the vehicle. to remove the vehicle. So in terms of security, if you see the table, the security is very high. Nobody, the bar itself will not even open for anybody to take the vehicle away. It's only when you want to reverse and it senses your plate number, that's when the bar will open and then you'll be able to come out. And then presence of vehicle, okay, that's that. Then existing platform for upgrading. Well, in Nigeria, I'm not sure, we didn't go around the country. We only based on the literature, people that are reported in the literature. But I'm not sure in Pick and Pay, I think, what's ShopRite? They are using it, but it's not what we intend because we have so many problems that we want to solve in that just one system. So our own is that we are starting from we identify a problem and then we are providing solution. We are not upgrading whatever, because even the app, we develop our app from the scratch, the Flutter app and all that, and it can work on Android phone. We can also integrate it into web. You can use your URL to search for it on but the thing is that your phone must have an internet to work. Okay, the ease of deployment, very simple. That pole is a pole. We call it IoT-based pole. Parking management is car park management. So the pole is what you will need to buy from us or to deploy. And for like a university, it costs like less than 50,000 naira because the ultrasonic sensor is about 8,500 naira. The microcontroller itself is less than 10,000, that's 18,000 naira. And for us that put the algorithm, that is where the knowledge is coming, that we may say we want to collect 500,000, and if you know how to negotiate very well, we can reduce.
Engineer, this is not platform for marketing, please.
All right, it's part of the question.
We want to know the
ease
efficacy.
of deployment. Yes, very easy. It's part of, if you check the table at the other time, the ease of deployment is very high. It's very easy to deploy. You can buy it and deploy it on your own. Then currency of the literature. This work, if you check the app, you can see December 2023. This work was concluded December 2023, and all the papers that we use for benchmark the same year, because it's not the work reported that year, and they are from IEEE. If you check the references, they are IEEE papers, and what falls on our reference 8, 9, 10 from the slide as well. Those are the work that we use to benchmark our work, and I want to tell you they are not work reported in Nigeria, but we want to domesticate it. Then parking state, yes, this is car park, IoT-based parking management system. It's just to manage car park. And then for the traffic congestion, yes, it's also solved that, because you can see, if you have the app, you can see where if there is any alternative route to where you are going. Another thing is that you are sure that you have a place to park your vehicle because you have pre-booked before leaving your house. It is reserved for you. The only thing now is that we need to integrate payments so that when you come, you can pay as well. But if you have reserved it, nobody else can take the slot from you, because the bar will not even open for any other persons to come in.
Thank you.
Then lastly, energy. Okay, how many? Okay, I think I've answered that one. 4, because we are looking at 4 car slots, and then each device has one microcontroller, one ultrasonic sensor, then the power source for each of those things. So because our pilot study is for 4, so that's why we constructed 4 units. Thank you, sir.
Currently, we have one of our past presidents online who would like to ask you a question.
Okay, sir.
Once we are done with that, we'll round up the session. Engineer John Funsho Adebayo, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. And Madam, well done.
Thank you, sir.
Simple question. Do you have a patent for what you just designed for massive rollouts in Nigeria and West Africa?
No, sir, we've not done the patency, and that's why some information is not being released here. But this is part of what we exhibit during our exhibition. But even the Vice Chancellor said we need to go and do the patent before the idea is being hijacked from us. But we have not done
I
it.
think NIEE is in a position to help you through NOTAP to complete the IPR. So you need to meet with the ES at the end of this session. So the people that were hijacked, I might be one of them. So you fast, make it while the sun shines. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah, I have to recognize a gungun because when you see a very big person, you have to. That's the only question, please. We will allow. Engineer Zubair, former chairman of Oshogbo chapter.
I'm sorry. I'm Engineer Adetomiwa Zubair. Yes, response to a question, for another question. Talking about theft, a question was asked, and the response was just about electronics. What about mechanical? If, you said the pole will not open if it's not the right owner of the vehicle. So are you putting something in place that will prevent mechanical damage of that pole, that the thief will just move the vehicle away? Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you so much, sir. I think with that now, we can put notification. Part of our, it's just a line or 2 lines of code to send if anybody is taking the vehicle away, because actually they can damage it. But I want to believe we have presence of security people around. But assuming there is no security personnel, with what you have just said now, is just to write 2 lines of code for encryption. That the vehicle, there is no way you can, even if you touch it, there will be a buzzer. There is something we can put that will start making noise, and then the person can run away.
Thank you so much for that presentation. Some things came up during the presentation, during the question and answer, which I just want to mention something. Don't try to solve too many problems with one device. In fact, if all you said is car park reservation system, and you solve that problem thoroughly and deeply, it's a product that can stand alone. And most of the car park systems I see are for private commercial properties, where as you drive in, it says how many parking slots are available and direct you to that. But nonetheless, it's been a very wonderful paper. Let's clap for her. You are not yet discharged or acquitted.
Thank you, sir.
I hope that you will develop it further.
Yes, sir.
And that at the next Icept, we'll see a more robust presentation. Thank you very much. Let's clap for her.
Sir.
We move to the last paper. It's titled Unmanned Emergency Detective System Using IoT. And the presenter is Engineer Adiolu Johnson Olawale. Is he here or online? Okay, you are here. Okay, step up to the podium. The paper has already been presented, displayed. So your time will start now.
Good afternoon, everyone. The chairman, the rapporteur, and the distinguished engineers in the house. I'm Adiolu Johnson Olawale. I'll be presenting this paper on man emergency detective system using IoT. All right, this is the order of presentation of this work. Let me start with introduction. We know that emergency detection has to do with taking measures or steps to ensure that if there's any form of deviations from the norms of the environment or any incident that is not palatable to human being, such incidents can cause some kind of a problem. And so what our system is doing is to ensure that we detect this early enough. Not only that we detect this early enough, an information system also is designed to inform the user of such occurrence, because it has been established from literature that when emergency issues were detected early enough, such system can save more life and property. So yes, Bartoli also and others in 2015 also said that faster detection of emergency situation has helped reduce the rate of life and property. Also, the assistant emergency detection system, the emergency detection system is also a device, that make up of a typical system imbibing the capability of sensing any form of dangers, in the normal state of environment. Yes, what is the problem that we actually foresee that we are trying to solve here? Apart from the fact that there are losses of life and property due to inadequate emergency detection system, we also discover that there's no existing system that has a robust user notifications. What we mean is that from literature, I've been able to discover that though there are so many detection systems that are already in the market, which I've put in my review of related work, but also I discovered that most of them did not have a robust notification systems. They do not actually take into consideration users with one problem, physical challenge problem or the other. Yeah, the scope of this work is just to develop an emergency detection system that we have three forms of notifications. One, it will have a buzzer to give an audio sound for maybe a user that is blind, that cannot see. Also, LCD for someone that can see but cannot hear. Also, a GSM for a user that is not physically present in the targeted environment. Yeah, these are just extract of some of the related work. I have so many of them in my paper, but because of space, I just have to put these three. Mann and Hong, 2019, developed a GSM-based fire alarm device by means of PIC microcontroller. They use MQT and the LM35 sensor. We know that MQT is just a smoke detector, and LM35 is a temperature sensor. So they combine these two sensors to detect some abnormality in the environment, and they have this notification system, which is the LCD and the buzzer. They did not incorporate IoT. Also, Adekitan, Matthew, and Olasukan in 2018 also developed a microcontroller-based gas leakage and removal system. They actually use MQ2 and other devices. Also, they do not have LCD to cater for someone who cannot see. Also, who cannot hear rather. The CAN 2020 also developed a gas leakage recovery system. This system employs MQ6, not MQ2. MQ6 is a higher version of MQ2 that can detect LPG, propane, and other gases, 3 gases. It can actually discover 3 gases, which is an improvement on MQ2. But this system also does not incorporate IoT, meaning if the user is not at that point, at the local point, if the user is at a remote place, he or she will not be able to get notifications. All right, so in my own work, because what I did was just to solve the problem of robust notifications, and then it is actually physical design and construction. So I use all these components, the transformer, SMS transformer, we know is a step-down transformer that can take between 220 to 240 volts and can give, I'm expecting 13.5 volts from the transformer. The diode rectifier, the diode that I use is 1N407 for full wave rectifications. The 7805 and 7812, they are voltage regulator to give me 12 voltage and 5 voltage. Why do I need the two? Because my microcontroller, the ATmega that I use, the MQ4 that I use, and all other components are expecting 5 voltage for their power. But the booster is expecting 12 voltage. That is why I have to use 2 voltage regulator. Then the MQ4 sensor. MQ4 sensor also can detect 3 gases. It can detect the CNG. It can also detect smoke and other one. Then I have my microcontroller. Then this is the GSM module that is actually functioning like as my IoT device. I just use the GSM module for the test message, just to receive message, not for online applications. Then, of course, the LCD is a system by 2 LCD, and then the booster. Yeah, this is okay. What I did is to break the unit down into subunit, and also use a flowchart to explain how the unit works. This is for power unit. Of course, the power unit. What is in the power unit are my transformers, my rectifier, my voltage regulator, and my rectification capacitor. Then the input unit is actually banking on the MQ4 sensors.
You actually have 4 minutes left.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay, let me move forward. Let me just go to okay, this is the block diagram of everything I'm seeing. The input is the gas sensor with the button to reset my system. The microcontroller is the ATmega, the power unit also. And I have 3 output, the booster, the LCD, and the gas module. Okay, this is the circuit design. We are expecting the input voltage from the FMR transformer to the full wave rectification to the voltage regulator, and then now everything is being controlled by my ATmega 328P. You can see that all the components, both the input and output component, they are all connected to the ATmega 38P to give the control to the system. And yes, then I discover while this system has been done that there is this problem of false alarm, false notification that come with a security system. Unfortunately, because it is hardware design, it has been designed. So what I just did is to check the accuracy of the device, which is the MQ4. What I'm planning to do is that by next year, I will have developed a machine learning to improve the accuracy, and I've started already.
You need to start lining up.
All right, sir. So, well, the sensors was checked, and this is the table. This is the graph showing that my MQ4 sensor is actually working, not 100% correct, but at least to a very high degree of accuracy. All right, the system response too, I got a very good system response. My detection system was able to detect some problems, some gas, hazardous gas problem, and it was reported on my phone. Okay, I just screenshot the LCD and also the message I got from my TCM module, which actually work perfect, nearly perfect anyway, not 100% perfect, because I see a problem of false notification. So, in conclusion, the Theory notification device that I was able to combine in my work actually was able to improve the usage of my emergency detection system, because almost all the users, even with one disability or the other, was able to get notification
of whatever that is happening in the environment. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for that presentation. You will agree with me that he has done a very good work on unmanned emergency detective system using IoT. My only worry is that I didn't see much of the IoT in your presentation. Maybe you can address it when you are addressing the comments. So I will now call on the members of the audience who have questions or comments. We will take that before we come to the rapporteurs, and then the presenter will address all the questions. So is there any question? Yes? Number one. Who else? Anybody else? Is there any other person? Okay.
Okay. Mr. Chairman.
Number two.
Distinguished engineers. The presenter, thank you very much for that design. I think I've been looking for more of those things in the past. From your design, I think you are limiting it to this, and we will have something similar already in existence. This is the auto-dialing system, which we can incorporate for signaling, smokes detector, and then we are thinking from your design, if you can do, I'm more like adding up to what you are doing. Since there's that auto-dialing system that can use your phone, just as GSM as you said, I think you have to incorporate that system to be able to detect intruder alarms, intruder. So that once that system comes up, it shouldn't be only for detecting maybe your smoke or gas or anything. Do it that you can incorporate maybe video so that once there's any sensing system, it goes into that system. But that same system can take a lot of things from the intruder to the video sensing system and also the smoke system. I think you can go for fire service and get those because all these buildings need just auto-dialing system. A system that once you detect that smoke, before the alarm comes up, it's already sending a signal to the recorded center. Thank you. Try to improve on it. I think that is the only advice I would give.
Thank you very much. We'll call on the next person, Engineer Rabia.
Thank you. Good afternoon once again. My name is Engineer Rabiu Haruna. My questions goes to the presenter. With regards to your design on man emergency detection system, whatever you call it, is there any category or classification in the severity of the gas detected in terms of the hazardous or the volume of gas out? What I'm saying is that can your system detect the severity of the gas released so that it can categorize severity 1, 2, or 3? And you made mention of a SIM's detection failure, or there's a situation when the SIM card will detect network failure. In your presentation, I've seen why you mentioned SIM network detection failure. That means you interface to the MNO when it fails. Does that underscore the performance of your system or negate the system? If you don't understand my question, I can rephrase it to say, in event of the interface failure, what option have you to make your system more reliable and effective? I think that puts you in a better position to answer it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll call on the rapporteurs, 1 minute, and then your response, please, should not be more than 4 minutes. We are time constrained.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Some of our, observers, they have made some questions, which are in regard to that. Just like what you say that, in the case of, the failure of your SIM, what is going to happen? Because it's a very, very critical moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you once again. I think I will start from the topic. You said unmanned emergency detective system using IoT. But in your work, what you're presenting is gas detection. So when you title your work like this, it looks like you want to detect everything. So you should modify your topic to limit it to probably gas leakage detection so that it will be in sync with what you presented. Of course, you mentioned that your work gave a high degree of accuracy. It's just like when you said that something is sweet. How sweet is it? So you should be able to give us the degree of that accuracy, maybe in percentage or any other parameter you want to use. And I will ask you, the chairman observed that, what makes your work IoT? What I'm seeing here is GSM. So does it have internet? And this SMS, I think the notification is SMS notification. So you have GSM, except maybe you are bringing in GPRS, but I think if you want to do IoT, you have to, have good internet access, okay? So you look at that. I don't have problem with works from maybe our students, our colleagues, leading to development of what is already existence. I don't have problem with that because there are so many things we write, we say we have researched, but we cannot produce them. So if you can make a locally designed version of that, I don't have problem with that. One that can compete with the one that is, most of those installed there are foreign made. So if you can get locally designed, prototyped versions of that, I'm okay with that. So you said you developed this thing and you have a prototype. We didn't see the picture of it. I only saw the circuit diagram. But to convince us that you produced this thing, we would have seen the, we don't have the prototype here. Yes, we can see the picture, to be sure that, you've done that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Elu. Please, your response in just a few minutes.
Thank you, sir, Mr. Chairman. Let me start with the incorporation of making this system more robust by incorporating alarm system and maybe video and things like that. Yes, thank you, sir. That is actually what we want to achieve. But going by the cost implication, we need to streamline this. But maybe after being encouraged now, we will look at how we can actually go further on that. Thank you, sir. Then on the system issue of the system failure based on the network. Yes, it's a problem that we don't have power over. If there is network failure, there's nothing we can do. The system will not be able to send or receive message with GSM, but the system will still continue to work locally using the LCD and the buzzer, but the remote user will not be able to receive any message. That's just the truth on that. Then, on the degree of accuracy, that is noted for further work. Like what I said, I did not actually foresee the issue of false notification at the initial stage of design and implementation. It was after we've completed the construction that we now see the problem of false notifications. So we will work on that. Like I said earlier, that we're only working on SVM, support vector machine learning algorithm, to actually improve on the accuracy of this system. And also, we are also going to look at an optimization techniques to do that for us because SVM also has problem that we've actually identified. So that will be. Then on the issue of yes, why is it IoT since it's only making of GSM? Yes, we actually mix of GSM, the SIM 800L, but
we control the device from the GSM. The GSM can send message when the gas is detected, and we also can send the code to actually off the alarm of the system from the GSM. And since IoT is actually can be established when two objects can communicate via any form of communications, either wireless communications or wired communication. It doesn't matter the kind of technology that we use to do that. So I think that is why we call it GSM, though I stand to be corrected, sir.
Engineer Adeolu, your time is up.
Okay, actually.
Sir. I think we should put our hand together for him.
Thank you, sir. I think.
So that it will not be like you are under trial. You are not. I think he has done a good work, and it deserves the applause. Part of what this helps us to do is, you are not supposed to give up on, that area of specialty, but you can see people have helped you to put together a more robust paper. Just go home, work on it, come back, I'm sure they will receive you.
Thank you, sir.
On that note, I want to thank our presenter. Let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you, sir.
I want to crave our indulgence, please. I've just been told that we have an online paper to present. One of our presenters who was having some connection issues. We have also told him it will be very brief, and the paper was to be taken under the technical session A, titled An Intelligent Human Presence Sensing System for Smart Room Power Management. Engineer Dr. Olumide Ajayi. Let's have that paper. You have 5 minutes to present the paper and 5 minutes for discussion. Thank you. Please, are there technical issues? Let us know so that we don't keep people hanging.
Dr. Ajayi went off.
Recording in progress.
Ours went off, but it's back now.
Okay.
So we want to see if he is back. He's not back. He's not back yet.
Okay, I can't keep people hanging indefinitely. I'm going to close the session now. I want to commend everybody that took the effort to put together paper. I want to commend Engineer Dr. Shegun Shuli, Engineer Dr. Mary Adedonyi, Engineer Adeolu Johnson for their efforts in enlightening us. I also want to thank my rapporteurs, Engineer Abba Ibrahim, and Engineer Professor Abba Ibrahim, and also Engineer Professor Ilo. You have helped to enrich the presentation. And I also want to thank the audience for their, keen interest in what was presented. I believe all of us have been further enriched by this session. Thank you to NIEE for giving me the opportunity to share this session. And on that note, this session is declared closed.
Thank you, my past chairman and his team, the rapporteurs. We appreciate you. Please, let's celebrate them as they are leaving the stage. But I think my chairman will still remain there. Other chairmen of the sessions, they are not yet here. What we want to have now is a joint technical discussions, where we're going to have all the chairmen of the sessions coming up here, and then we can all share our minds together. And we need to do that quickly. We'll start around 1:30. I can release us to just relax for the next 10-15 minutes. By 1:30 or thereabouts, we come in for the joint technical session. We finish that by 2. Then we'll close till we meet during the fellowship for those of us who want to come. Every other activity here will be ending now or today. Every other activity, the AGM will be taking place in the Harris Hotel tomorrow. Yeah, fellowship will be in the Harris Hotel. AGM will be in the Harris Hotel. Any program in this university closes today. Thank you very much. Please, let's just relax. I also want to remind our rapporteurs, there will be joint rapporteurs meeting in Harris Hotel today by 5 p.m. If it's too far from where you are living or where you stay, please let me know, and we can see how to support or make arrangements for you to be in Harris Hotel by 5, where all the rapporteurs will be meeting. So please, let's join them. I understand people are there eating now. Please, let's join them. Sorry for that. When we finish eating, we will. Please submit your rapporteurs. Let's submit our, engineer Wubu.
The organization is very poor.